This episode of An Unexpected Podcast is brought to you by our youngest upper, Henry Ray Pope. A huge congrats and a cheers across the world to Mitch, Ashley, and their girls. Cheers, little Henry, and happy Thanksgiving to all.
Hello, friends, and welcome to An Unexpected Podcast. I'm Ez.
And I'm Lane.
And we're talking Tolkien.
And we're coming to you from, we're doing it on the couch this time in the Shire of America, the beautiful state of Ohio, in a little village called Amanda.
Yeah, we're doing it on the couch, and we're doing it right on Thanksgiving. Right?
We are.
Okay.
Right.
A lot of rights in there.
Plenty of rights. No lefts, no wrongs.
This is crazy. We're actually in the living room.
Yeah.
Have we ever, besides like an appendices or something, recorded in here?
We've done the travelogs in here before.
We've never done a main episode in here.
This is
wild.
This is a first, man.
This is crazy, dude.
I don't even know what you'd call this.
Yeah.
I'd say flying casual, but it's another universe.
No, I wouldn't say that.
This is great, man.
Yeah, this is cool.
Yeah.
It is cool. It's actually because
we don't even have laptops. We're on our phones.
We're on our phones. I got my leg up over the chair, if that's okay.
You're
okay?
straddled. Should I take a photo of that?
That's kind of like not good etiquette, right?
Well, I mean,
I feel bad.
If you wouldn't have said anything, no one would have known.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like whatever. You're taking a video or are you taking a...
I mean, I just took a photo.
Okay.
It was a long one, though. I got one of those old phones. So you have
it takes a second,
leave the shutter open for a couple days and it captures. Yeah. Happy Thanksgiving, man.
Hey, right back at you, buddy. This is your favorite. It's your favorite holiday.
Favorite holiday. And this has been, honestly, my favorite Thanksgiving of all time. Wow. It's been amazing. Just the whole day was perfect. It was perfect.
Yep. It's good.
Food was wonderful. Got to spend it with family. It was amazing. Just being with the girls. Our niece Joelle came over. So Hillary and Darrell were here, and my mom and my dad, and Charlie and Gina, my in-laws, and my brother-in-law Matt. And it was great. I mean, wonderful. It was cool having everyone in the dining room. We hadn't had Thanksgiving at our house since the very first year we bought it. We moved in, and a week later was Thanksgiving, and we said, "Hey, let's host it. Everyone, come on over." They were like, "Are you sure?" We were like, "Yeah, it'll help us get unpacked,
right,
in a reasonable amount of time." And it was crazy, but we pulled it off, and it was great. And so today was very nostalgic, and it was just cool. Dad and I were just sitting on the pub table, back in the corner. Felt like a couple of Striders.
Yeah, I saw that.
You know?
The Smith boys back there.
Yeah, and it was just really cool, just looking around and seeing everybody interact, and it's just the best. It's the best. There's no presents. The expectations aren't the same as like there's all this pressure around Christmas.
Sure.
And it's just wonderful. And it's we were texting last night, right? And just you get one life, man.
Come on.
You get one shot at this. You get one.
Yeah.
Like the only thing guaranteed is the breath you're taking right now.
Right. Right.
Like literally, like anything can happen. Anything can happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know. I just I'm so thankful for all the stuff. I say stuff. I don't mean stuff. I mean like the beautiful people in my life, the experiences I've had, like my daughters, my wife, my parents, my sister, her husband, Darrell, like our family, my in-laws, and then all the friendships I have.
Right.
I got my brother, you. I've got it's the best friend group in the world.
Yeah. Yes.
And I mean, you could just literally spend hours reflecting upon it. And I did last night. I had a little drink.
Yeah.
And I texted you. I said, Ezzy, this amount of alcohol it just helps me like get introspective and feel it and feel it does for me what I think like hallucinogenic drugs do for other people. I see the reality of it, and I see that this is dude, like whatever you want to call it, divine intervention, blessing, luck, whatever it is to you, like that's what it is. Like it cannot be explained in my mind, and it's something to be marveled at, and life is, it's a beautiful thing. There's a lot of pain, a lot of crap, and a lot of people have been dealt very junky hands.
Yep.
But so many people do amazing things with that, and that again is just another way that you feel humble.
Well, yeah, it is wild. You hear the stories about people, like, just depending on where you come from or what you have going on in your life, and then you make the best of that and everything. Like I don't know, I was gonna like in a small way over the summer and even around the time of the party, I was in a dark place.
Yeah.
I couldn't see. I didn't know which way to go.
Yeah.
So and that was in a really small way, because I know other people are struggling with a lot of different things, but it was sort of like, what do you do?
Yeah.
I mean, and then to have you as a reminder of my friends and my family, to keep pushing you on and to be thankful. Look at what you are. Look at what you do have.
See it through.
Right? Yeah. See it through.
Like Sam Wise said. See it through.
So
yeah.
I don't know. Hopefully everyone had just a blessed day and
I know this. I know holidays are hard for a lot of people too. I know that like this isn't always Thanksgiving, Christmas aren't always the most fun. Either you're I don't know. There's a lot of pain that it gets wrapped up in it too. But it was wonderful today. So.
I think we each can speak for ourselves in that. Like I can say I am blessed, and I'm able to sit down and look and say I got a lot going for me, and there's a lot of good happening in my life, and that gives me courage. It gives me hope. It gives me motivation to go out and do what I need to do. Yeah. So there's a work that needs done.
Yep.
Put it on my back. Let's go.
Keep carrying, baby.
Let's go.
Can't carry it for you, but I can carry you.
Come on. There it is.
But I mean, it's cool that we're capping it off this way.
Yeah.
It's very wonderful. Very wonderful. I wanted it to, because you were like, you want me to come over still? I was like, yeah, man.
Yeah, this is cool.
It's good energy. We actually recorded the first episode of the Lost Sock podcast.
We did.
Can we say that?
I think we can. You just
the Lost Sock podcast.
Yeah, that's going to be a wild adventure.
It will be a wild adventure. Yeah. And what do we talk about that first episode? You'll just have to wait and see.
That's right. Yeah.
Let it build.
When should we post that, by the way?
Whenever we find it.
Whenever
we find it.
That'll be years from now. I'll be like, whoa.
Probably.
Holy cow.
So anyway, Ez and I have been talking about a secret project for a long time, and that's what it is. It's essentially just us with no structure, just talking, capturing some of our, just thoughts and conversations. And
yeah, it really got to me. Let's see, was that we were recording further up, and afterwards we sat there and we had a conversation. Was that Tuesday? That was Tuesday night.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it was about, I don't know, hour and 20 minutes or hour and 10. And it fired me up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it fired me up, man.
It was good. It was really good.
It was refreshing. It was a good conversation. Yeah. I got motivated. I left here motivated. I went home then and I continued to kind of I talked to my dad about it. I talked to my sister about it.
Yeah.
I talked to my buddy Matt about it. He fired me up. And then I went back down memory lane, and you know what I'm saying?
There it is, baby.
And I actually had a chance. This is gonna sound crazy. I'm not even gonna reveal what I'm. I like to speak in riddles and secrets and stuff. So
you're a wizard.
But I spoke to a young man. I should say a young man spoke to me. Yeah, and he fired me up. Man, I mean, he fired me up, and I had forgotten about this young man.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it.
We often do, don't we?
We do.
We often forget about it.
We do. So it was something. It was trippy, and but I needed it, and so it was good. And so we were talking about that all those juices were flowing, and then we got down here, and we were just sort of like still on that high, still talking about it.
Yeah.
And so
we're in a good spot, man.
Yeah, it was sort of like okay, let's turn the mics on. Let's fire it up. Get it nice and toasty, and we did. Take your socks off and
or leave them on, whatever your preference,
whatever you want. So it was fun. It was cool. It was really cool.
It was a blast, man. Absolute blast. You heard in the this episode is brought to you by intro there about little Henry Pope, who was born, just a couple days ago. So if you remember back when Charlotte was born, Mitch Pope did a cheers across the globe over there in Australia, and so I'm literally I'm indulging here. I'm having a little strongbow, saluting and cheersing little Henry. So congrats, brother, to you and your family on the baby boy. And it's very, very exciting.
It's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. We're actually making an announcement ourselves tomorrow that Sarah is pregnant yet again. So crotch fruit, the trilogy.
Come on now.
So I mean, literally, as many books as we've read, you've gotten to hear about as many babies from the Smith family. So yeah, it's the Crotch trilogy going on.
What
so
was the phrase?
Return of the Kid? I don't know.
Yeah, like earlier you said. I think you said something like, an unexpected podcast, making crotch fruit since
2017. Yeah. So anyway, we're super excited. We've got a cool little like announcement picture we're gonna take tomorrow. We're gonna go take our get our Christmas tree, and we're going to recreate a picture we've done. This will be like 3 years in a row now, and got a big old print of the ultrasound printed off that we're going to use for that. So and for anyone who's wondering, this was planned. We love our babies. We want to keep our family growing, and just too much. There's too much. I don't know. There's too much love to be shared in our family. So yeah, but the girls are great. Good. Life's awesome. I'm on a high, man.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it?
I'm on a high.
It's good. I'm like, I don't know, like there's something about that when you guys told me just that you're it just feels good, It's like, I feel good for you guys. It makes me feel good, and it's like new life, and there's something about like kids and youth and just that freshness or whatever, that I don't know, the innocence is just great. It's just awesome.
Did you hear that video where Winnie was saying "Happy Thanksgiving, Frodo"?
Frodo, yeah. Oh my,
just by herself,
dude. She can talk so well now.
Yeah.
She's just she's so smart.
She's running a podcast, I think, man.
Yes, she is. Well, we're
she
getting this
take
thing
over for us.
Once we figure out the name for this bad boy, we will, hand it over. So,
whimsical Winnie. Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome. So anyway, new life is all around us. We want to thank you guys for joining us yet again. We love spending time with you, and we're thankful for you this season and every day. So thank you for being our friends and in our book club on this journey.
Absolutely.
So we don't have much for dropping eaves, just a little bit here. That of course we've got the 3 actors who have been
confirmed, right?
Can I say confirmed? I guess. I guess. It's hard to say anything has been confirmed with this project because they've been keeping it so close to the chest and tight-lipped. But Will Poulter as Beldor, Markella Kavanaugh as Tyra, or Tira, probably Tira, and Joseph Mall as Oren. And he's being reported to be the main villain. Anyway, Deadline just came out with an article that is revealing that the series is already getting a season 2 renewal, and it's setting a season 1 hiatus. So I'm not going to read the article.
Now, what does that mean? A season 1 hiatus?
Yeah, I read it before, and so I'll just kind of pick out the parts and try to remember what's going on. But anyway. They picked up season 2, which is good. It means that everything that the creative team is doing is really hitting home for Amazon, and they believe it's going to be massive. Obviously, not only with the investment, the team they built, but they haven't even they're like filming the first couple episodes now. So if they're that blown away by it, then.
So what that means is like they enjoy, like season 1 was good, so they're
not even done filming season 1. That's the hiatus part. So what's happening is they're going on like a 5-month break after filming the first 2 episodes. So maybe they haven't even started to film those yet. I don't know. The whole timeline got screwed up when they decided to last minute. They kind of made that move to go to New Zealand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So anyway, after the first 2 episodes are filmed, and those are being directed by J.A. Bayona, the writing team is going to use that time to map out and write the bulk of season 2 scripts. So that tells me season 1 scripts are locked in and done, ready to go.
Right.
This also I think it was actually Tom Shippey who said something about a 20-plus episode season. This makes me really, really wonder. I almost think that that's not what we're going to see. And the more I've thought about that, I'm like, 20-plus episode season. That is a lot of episodes. Yeah. I mean, all like Mandalorian, how many chapters are coming out? 10.
10, yeah.
And they're only a half an hour long.
Yep.
Like, I'm guessing this will probably be more on the hour side.
Sure.
I don't know that isn't a little bit of like either misinformation or
maybe these are half hour. Like, I mean,
maybe they might be. It just seems like an awful lot. Like, so that means 2 seasons would be 40 episodes. That's a lot of episodes. Anytime there's like seemingly too many episodes, I kind of worry a little bit about quality. But again, I mean, I'm not like, that's just my own, like as a viewer, my own personal preconceived notion. So it has no kind of weight to it at all, or any kind of truth in what I'm saying. But I kind of wonder. I kind of wonder if it isn't going to be more like a 10, 12 episode season, especially with them taking that break. But the timeline's also adjusted a little bit too. It sounds like more 2021 we're going to get any kind of release of the show.
Okay. All right.
Season one,
yeah.
So we got a little bit of time here. I mean, we have all of next year, and then depending on when it comes out in 2021, part of that year as well, to really, for us, I'm thinking about us as a book club, to dig into the Silmarillion.
Oh yeah, which is great,
and make our way into the Second Age. We might even be able to time it so that we're in the Second Age as the show's coming out.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah,
so
that'd be awesome. So this article that you have in here, I was just looking through it real quick, and it looks like, as you say, that hiatus is gonna be, I guess, a good thing for them, because even though they've got these first couple episodes, whatever, like when you write the season 2 script, they may, based upon that script, do some adjusting to season 1, or make everything fluid and fit. And you know what I'm saying? They're building towards something. They're getting more of the story down. Perhaps. They also said it looks like they will be filming some of season 2 while they're filming season 1.
Is that what it says there?
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
So it says by going on a longer hiatus, they'll be able to they'll be ready with season 2 scripts. Yeah.
That's good. I was also thinking about that in terms of like amount of time. I'm thinking, you film the first 2, whether it's been done now or it's going to be done early next year, then you take 5 months off. That's like, we're talking next summer. Right. They pick back up with season 1.
Yep.
And so you have like half a year to get a show, like an entire of 20 plus episodes. I mean, that just seems like kind of crazy to me.
Is that because of the weather or something, or where they're at, or what they're filming? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, are they waiting on
for that hiatus?
Yeah. What's with the hiatus?
I think it's just literally to write for season 2.
Yeah.
To prep. And like you said, if they're shooting season 1 and season 2 at the same time, that's very similar to what they did with the films. They filmed all 3 films at once. So you hear the actors talk about, like, they would do Return of the King stuff. Yeah. And then the next week they'd be at Fellowship, and then they jump over to Two Towers, and it was just the way budgetarily it made sense. That's what big projects do. They're so I almost think the more money involved, the more they're like that. It's dictated by what is going to make the most financial sense, not necessarily, or even considering it all. Like, well, it would be easier for an actor to build to a climax if you had them progress this way. It's all about what's going to make the most sense.
That's also
Isn't it amazing?
Why you look at that and you marvel. You're
it's unbelievable. How did you get so like
the emotions and the actors?
There's one scene. It's the scene where Sam and Frodo, or Frodo is telling Sam to leave.
Yeah,
on the stairs of Cirith Ungol, which we know didn't really happen. But anyway, that scene, they shot Frodo's half. And then something happened with the wet. They were like in a squash court or something. There were these floods, so it changed their schedule, and they had to go do this scene. They shot Frodo's half. We're getting ready to do Sam's half, and weather changed, and they were able to go on and film the other things. They didn't get back to that scene until a year later.
Jeez,
a year later, almost to the day, and it was in November. I think it was like around this time of year. Like end of November. What I mean by that. So like literally, it's in the special features in the appendices. I love it. It shows that scene, and it puts the date when it flips back and forth between the perspectives. And it may have been flip-flopped. It may have been Sam first and then Frodo. But anyway, it's like Elijah Wood saying, like, it's literally time travel. You're looking at that scene, and it's depending on who you're looking at, it's a year later.
That is so wild.
Yeah, so I mean, it'll be crazy to see how they. Yeah, but thinking about how they can get to that point as an actor, and be okay, we've been through this, even though I really haven't been.
Yep.
I mean, I guess that's why they're actors too, right? And that's why they do what they do. But yeah, it'll be really interesting to see how. I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if they do go with that 20 plus each. That's a lot of episodes they're flying through, man.
Yeah,
but
it is.
if anybody can do it, it's people
so,
involved. So they're
here's the crazy thing. I wonder when you're making a TV show, like thinking about the end, because everyone talks about like something starting off great. It can start off great. It can be fantastic. And even like JJ recently has been talking about how afraid of endings he is.
Well, yeah, and
really,
it shows.
And
things are hard, man.
They're hard.
It's easy to start something good. It's hard to finish it and do it justice, especially because expectations build. And people, and everyone's an expert, you know, which, oh my God, then that's not us. We are not ones who are going to sit and go, oh, well, I think they really kind of effed up the ending. You know, it's like you have to have an open mind for that kind of stuff. I mean,
yeah. No, so I bring this up because I only think like I'm just curious, like how much do they know? Like what is the overarching? What's their direction?
Imagine trying to structure this thing too,
because they don't know. They don't know how successful it's going to be, or what to do. I think you just tell one good story here, and maybe they were going in such a direction that was looking so good that they said, "All right, let's start to build this and make this more, connected." Or do you guys think it would help if we had season 2 woven there, and you kind of maybe you need to plan out a little bit further to help you with season 1.
Yeah.
Make season 1 better by knowing where you're going to go in season 2. Yeah. Because when there's little Easter eggs and you're like, holy cow, they talked about that back in episode 3. Yeah, it's coming back again. Absolutely. You're sort of like, holy cow, look at the foresight they had.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That is always kind of neat. So, one hopes that they're doing that, and sometimes you can't. I mean, really, I don't know what all they can and can't do, and I sure hope somebody's documenting all of this. I hope there's like some guy.
Oh, there's got to be an appendices going on. I mean, like the behind the scenes. I would hope.
Right.
I would hope so, and that we're going to get that at some point. Just because you're right. I mean, just the engineering of it is going to be when that's revealed. I mean, it'll blow my mind. So.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. So anyway, really good article. That was interesting. I missed that whole part about them filming both seasons at the same time, but
it's cool, right?
That's very cool. So there you go. At least 2 seasons confirmed. That's exciting for us as fans and readers, and just hungry, thirsty for more Middle Earth on our screens.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So
and let me say, so I recently on Instagram, Twitter, wherever, I've been just posting new editions of like books that I'm getting and stuff, and I literally I've been trying to get LOTR on. I've been trying to bait him into telling me where to start reading. Which chapter, which stories. Second Age is a big where. Tell me specifically nuts. Where we're going to start.
It's nuts. I know, and so that's part of the thing too that I'm thinking of. Like how would you? It's just amazing. It's amazing. You got to know those stories really well to be able to go, okay, here's how we're going to structure this show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if we only get 1 season, here's what we're going to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we're going to open these little, like you said, Easter eggs or windows. We're going to plant these seeds in season 1 where if they like it, we could say, okay, well, here we go. We'll carry on this. Mm-hmm. We'll show more of these characters. We'll get into this event.
Right.
Man, I just can't wait. I'm sick of talking about it, honestly. I'm sick of talking about it. Like,
see it. You want to see a trailer?
2021 seems so long. Yeah, and hopefully they will release some of that stuff. But my gosh, they've been so tight.
Yeah, you would have to imagine.
They've been so tight.
This next year or something, like in this next summer.
I would think so. And maybe that's why we've only gotten 3 actors so far, is they haven't started filming. I mean, because legit, remember, this was in June, so not that long ago. There were all these reports about they're going to start in. They're going to do a 2-month block, August, September, take into October, take November off, and then come back for December, January, February. And they had that all mapped out.
Right.
And I think that was before they said, yeah, we're actually going to be based in Auckland. It was when they were still in Scotland. So I think that process has kind of changed everything. Maybe given them bought them more time too to kind of work with and be able to do more. Whatever they have to do. I don't know.
Okay.
Studio update. You want to give them a little studio update?
Yeah. So, wow, guys, the studio is the crazy thing. We're coming up on.
It's warmer.
It's warmer in there for sure. And I was just thinking about when we did the Kickstarter in January. Mm-hmm. So we'll be coming up on a year after having done the Kickstarter. Gotten the funding to kind of get it going and stuff like that. It is crazy that we're in the drywall stage.
Yeah.
And really we had to plan everything out, map it out with Kev, do the whole 9 yards. So we are in the all the insulation is in there. I think we did a darn good job on that insulation.
We did a great. Oh my!
We did a great.
Kev walked in and he said, "Looks professional, fellas."
That's what he said.
And I said, I mean, it's because we're professional grade, man.
That's right. That's what
we do.
So it's a lot warmer in there. It's amazing how much that like affected the.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
On a weird little side note, I honestly thought the garage doors were gonna let more, more heat leak or cold in, and they haven't at all. Just with the insulation, not even with any of the finished drywall up or anything. Wow. We won't have to insulate those very much at all. It's especially if we have a heating unit in there. Yeah. I mean, I was in there today and it's been pretty chilly. Yeah. And I was like, this isn't that bad in here.
Well, we were in there working and we had one, rinky-dink space heater going. Yeah. And it was boiling.
Yeah, it was.
It was boiling. It was a little bit warmer. It was like 40 degrees or whatever. It wasn't like a 26 degree day.
Right. Yeah.
But whatever,
How often does that happen?
Yeah.
Just all winter.
So there's the update. I mean, we'll keep you guys posted, and we're hoping to speed through some of it here in the holidays and get it ready to go because we want to go out there and record.
We do. Yes, we do.
We get out there and get that done. So
yes, we do. Apparently, in our most recent poll, I am a little more of a lightweight than you are.
Seriously?
Slightly. I think I beat you out. I think it was like 53%, 47%.
That is hard to believe.
I know. I mean, I guess if you listen to that last episode, I must have been a little more tipsy. But anyway, that was all in good fun. And those of you who appreciated that, we appreciate you. It's good to cut back every once in a while. Cut back, cut loose.
Well,
lean back every once in a while and get a good drink in you.
What are you gonna do when the brewmaster shows up?
I mean, what would a Hobbit do? Yeah, I mean, that's my question. Like, good Lord, are we watching reading the same books here?
That was fun. I tell you, Ben, I had so much fun chatting with him, and he had such really good thoughts, and it was just
such good insight.
It was merry. It was just a merry time.
It was merriment. Yes, it was. Just laughter and
we were freezing, literally freezing.
I mean, I stood up at one point to walk out and go to take one of our bathroom breaks, and I almost fell. I think I fell into the insulation, didn't I?
You did.
I mean, my joints. It wasn't the beer. I mean, it may have partially been, but it was my joints were just frozen,
stiff, man.
And from sitting that long and everything. So much more comfortable today. But here we are.
Yeah.
Here we are. A cool little side note. I won't spend long on this at all, but there is I guess the mayor of Wellington, Andy Foster, has sort of put a movie museum back on the books and planned for building or something. I don't know. Anyway, Peter Jackson has been notorious for collecting all kinds of movie props. He's got the car from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Really?
He loves, he's a gadget toy guy, and so he's collected all this really cool film history and memorabilia and everything. And so I guess for a long time he's wanted to make a museum there in Wellington. People jokingly call it Wellywood. Yeah. Because of all the film industry there. That's crazy that he pioneered. I mean, he talk about putting something on his back. Yeah, that's been all him.
That's him.
And his team, and obviously all the people that work with him. But he is by being the director, by the very nature of that position, he is the leader of that. So anyway, kind of cool thinking about him wanting to get that done, and maybe the city of Wellington kind of being behind him on that. So
that's cool.
Yeah,
that's
very
neat.
Very cool. I mean, we bring up things that we like or didn't like about certain films or whatever, but like all said and done, Peter Jackson. I mean, I would bow down at his feet and kiss his his hairy toes. Like, no question. I would say I'm not worthy. I mean, he's an amazing filmmaker. He's an incredible creative genius, and I hope he gets that. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, brother.
All right, cool beans. Well, I think
the gates, man.
Let's open the old gates here. The black gates open, and so we'll read through the summary here. We're kind of in a real casual position here, chilling out in the living room. So we'll probably do some major takeaways and stuff. And this was not a shorter chapter, but I mean, and there were some. I can think of like a couple really big epic moments.
Yeah,
that were really big and that were really spoke to, our characters and who they are. And it was sort of like. It's almost weird because this is the ending of the fifth book.
5. Yeah, that's right.
So it's kind of crazy in that regard that you've got these characters who've been on this journey and they've been fighting this great battle. We're literally right here at the end.
Yeah.
Actually, if you think about it, we're right at the end.
Yeah, so, and we're about to jump back in time.
Yes.
Do it all over again from a different perspective.
It's crazy. It's almost like the end of the series here, but it's not. So anyway, so I'm going to read through some of this summary that we have and just then we'll kind of do some major takeaways here. But let's see here. So after a couple days there, so one of the things we had happen, we had Merry, who ends up he got left behind, right?
Yeah. To his shame,
right? Just
right?
because
he does
of
not go with him.
Now that gives our friend Pippin a little bit of hope.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because he might be able to come level with him.
Yeah, right. Isn't that one of his thoughts? He's like, I gotta even the score.
Right.
Yeah, we were talking about that hilarious like comparison to
friends do that.
Yeah, like Legolas and Gimli, right? You know how they had that, especially in the films. It's played up that whole competition of who can kill more, and it's. I mean, it's almost like he's the youngest. Pippin's the youngest Hobbit. On this journey, he's always kind of been the one that's a little, he's more immature, I guess, I don't know. Like, I love that about him. I don't say that in a negative way. He's just, he's younger. He's more youthful. He's less, he's more naive. Mm-hmm. Yeah, right? Yeah, it's like what was Mary saying about him not paying attention? Not reading in Rivendell when he should have been along our journey, right? And he brought that up a couple times, and he's like, well, no, of course I wasn't,
Right.
He's just he's like us kind of, I mean?
Yeah.
He's like,
you're leaving that for somebody else, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
I figured you were doing that.
Right.
Enjoying the scenery.
So it's almost like I want to try and honor Merry in that respect too. Like I want to level the score, but I can't let him embarrass me. But at the same time, I want to honor that hobbits. All hobbits can do that kind of a thing, right? We can all
exactly.
take down the bads.
He is the representative.
Yeah,
I mean he is literally.
Yeah, he is the right. That's true.
It. He's there for the Shire and for all of his people.
Wow,
which is huge.
Heavy.
So to have Merry do what he did and the Battle of Pelennor Fields, that was huge. It was cool. It was great for the Shire folk, and now he's got to live up to that.
Yeah,
in some respects. So okay, so about a couple days after their decision to assault Mordor, right? So in the last debate, we're talking about like, what are we going to do? What's the plan moving forward? And the great captains are assembled. It's pretty awesome. Mm-hmm. Talking about what to do. There are still other forces around Gondor, like the surrounding areas. So there's still dark forces that they kind of are worried about. Imrahil was worried about that in some respect. Yeah. We talked about the idea that the gate was battered, but there were men to hold it, and that was more important than anything else. Which was cool. So they do decide to leave a small force there at Minas Tirith to defend the city. Mm-hmm. And that was at Imrahil's urging, and again, he's the steward, right? He's the acting kind of steward. So. And again, as I said, Merry is not able to go, but Pippin marches on with the army. So now the army passed Osgiliath and made camp. The horsemen moved ahead, but they encountered no opposing forces. As the army drew closer to Mordor, Gandalf instructed the heralds to sound the trumpets and declare the coming of the King of Gondor.
Yeah, I love this whole, just again, something that's lost in the films because you just see them set off and then they're there all of a sudden. Yeah. And you don't see the in-between. So I guess, and Peter Jackson makes a great point when he says, I didn't say it didn't happen.
Sure.
I just didn't show it.
Yep.
And for time constraints, it makes sense. But like, this is just such a cool thing of thinking about them. They're going through this land, which is enemy territory. Mm-hmm. It's where we had been... Yeah, at one point they're going through the same area where Frodo and Sam had encountered Faramir, when there was that skirmish there, and they're constantly on the edge of a knife, thinking, where's the attack going to come? Yep. Where's the assault going to happen? And then eventually, when it does happen, they realize it was just literally them being baited. It wasn't even much of a fight. They're like, well, this is obviously just to keep us coming and to lull us into a false security that we're going to be able to. Just walk right in here and have our way and really just the silence. The silence is eerie, especially when they get to Minas Morgul, right? Yes. And there's that weird, and not even all of them, they want to destroy it, right? They want to march in and destroy it, and oh God, is it Gandalf who talks about the the madness that it would drive. It drives people crazy. Like you go in there and it drives you nuts. So this whole procession of constantly thinking like, well, is there going to be an attack? Where's it going to come from? And then deciding like not to spend too much time at Minas Morgul, to move on, that the gate is their focus, and to not go seek out like little encampments of orcs if they were even there. They need to go. They need to stop delaying. And I thought about this too, because like the timing of all this is very, very, very interesting, man.
Okay.
Very interesting, because if they're there too early, they're not synced up with what Frodo and Sam are doing.
Yep.
If they're there too late, again, they can't provide that distraction.
Yep.
And they have no idea.
No.
Just like us in this part of the book, we don't know where Sam and Frodo are.
Nope,
you're reading this for the first time. You're like, well, I don't know. Is that his mithril? Like, do they have the mithril coat because he is dead? Do they really have the ring? Is the mouth of Sauron telling the truth? And it's like they were doing what they thought was best, but it could have been, if the timing had been off, or if Frodo would have been captured, I mean, they would have been doomed.
Yes.
And they knew that, and they were willing to accept that risk. Like, this is all we can do.
Yeah.
And it might be that they kill us all, they march on, and they take over the world, but we at least had to try something.
I mean, literally, it's almost like just in faith here. We have to move forward. We have to believe in this and last
Trust
as
in our
long
king.
as we can.
Yeah.
Fight as long as we can. Be a nuisance, a thorn in the side.
Yep.
As long as we need to be. So and it is like the ending of this chapter is really sort of like, what would you do? I mean, like,
I know
it's wild. And thinking about like the first read through, I'd be wondering too, like, okay, I'm at the end of this. I'm at the end of this book. Is there another? There's something else coming. There's more.
Right.
Like, what could that be? I mean, we haven't heard from these guys in a long time. It's a crazy place to be in as a reader.
Yeah.
So
it's nuts. Yeah.
Now, a couple more things here, just in the summary. So, they're marching on, as you say, it was around the fourth day where the younger troops kind of become like paralyzed with fear.
Oh my gosh, this was amazing.
Right? Yeah, and it's sort
amazing.
Like, this is one of those things where Aragorn just. He's a boss.
Yeah, he is.
He's an absolute,
he knows what they need to hear either way.
Yes, true leader.
He is. He says, he gives them this like alternate assignment. He says, go back and hold. Is it around Carandros or something like that? God, it's terrible. I can't remember. He gives them assignment to go defend this area.
Yes,
and
because it was an area that was necessary, and it was honestly like Aragorn knew.
It was an important task.
Yes,
it was an important task, and something that they would have done afterwards, or at some point. And what it does is perfect. It either emboldens some to come back into the fold and stay, and realize that I'm because he trusts in me that much, I'm staying with him, and I'm going to fight with the king. Or it has them leave and go. They don't leave in fear or in panic. They're leaving with a cause, and they don't run.
Right.
They march. They walk to where they need to go and the place they need to defend. And it's just like how and the fact that he even noticed that he's noticed that these kids, man,
yes,
were paralyzed with fear. They were freaking.
Something what good would they have done him?
They wouldn't
in
have.
that state
to fight afraid. No, and they were, because it was like these fairy tales, these legends were coming to life. These dark. It'd be like I don't know, us encountering like a wood full of Sasquatch, right, or something. It'd be like, oh crap, like these are real.
Yeah,
are you kidding me? Like
I wouldn't move. I wouldn't be able to move.
I wouldn't either. I'd pee myself. And it'd be so he recognizes that, and he has pity on them. He doesn't treat them with scorn. And he's such a respectful leader, and it just again makes you love him even more.
Yeah, I thought that was really, really key, and then also think about like when, so it did another thing too. It also inspired the other men too, right?
Oh yeah, that are just there anyway.
Remember, right? like some of them who were maybe fearful or whatever. It's sort of like, okay, no.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Okay.
Yeah, I was talking they were emboldened to come back into the fold.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, it did both those things.
Yes. And
then
you, as you say, you have a purpose to go fight, because could you imagine if you're bashing them and you're kind of scoffing and scolding or whatever, you cowards or whatever? Who wants to go fight for?
No,
who would want to continue on?
The people who are it would create a lot of division.
Yeah.
That's what it would do. So, yeah.
So, okay, let's see here. Just a few more things, and then we'll jump into this. Basically, we're going to save some of the stuff with the Mouth of Sauron at the end here.
Yeah,
and that's really
meat, isn't it?
Yeah, like as we've said, they kind of get baited into. They're ushered on to the Black Gate, and it's a chess. It's like a mental chess game. You know, it's almost like they need to also appear like that they. You know, I don't know. It's like the ambush. For example,
right.
When you look at that, they knew it. They sent their outriders were out there. They outflanked them. They did the whole whatever.
Yep.
It's weird because it just seems like they knew where they were going to go and that they knew what their quest was, and at the same time, did they also know that that they're being led this way as well? They're kind of playing their part. It's just a weird kind of feel. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Like
super cat and mouse.
There you go. Okay.
Big time.
Yes.
Right? Big time. And it was, I think, what was the comparison at the gates? Oh, man. I can get into this later, I guess, when we dive in a little bit more. But it was like Sauron was, he wanted to play with his prey first.
Yeah, okay.
He wanted to torment him.
Well, that's
right?
the whole reason he sends the mouth out, right? I mean, his mouthpiece, yeah.
And why he draws them in, he wants to, well, exactly right. The mouth, he wants to go rub salt into the wound, and to just, because he feeds off that fear, doesn't he? Mm-hmm. He gets strength and power from fear and confusion, and so that's what that would cause. I mean, you even saw it with the way. The way they reacted to that, especially in the film too. You've got like Pippin shouting out, in kind of like fear and reaction, and Gandalf having to say, "Calm down, you know, and don't show, be strong, right, don't react."
Right, but then it also, but also by like having those reactions too, I think he thinks you have him right where he wants him.
Yep.
And maybe he does, and it's weird how it all kind of works out too, because they don't really know how long they need to stall or what, you know what I'm saying?
The timing of it all. Right. I know. It's crazy. It's crazy. So, and the fact that draws, again, like the whole point was that draws Sauron's gaze to them. So the stronger those reactions are, I guess the more he feeds off that and enjoys that, and he's even more locked into, hey, I'm at the gate. I don't know what else is going on. Like, look at how much I'm about to squash this enemy that I fought for so long. Yeah. And look at him writhe.
Right.
Like, I've got him squirming. Yes. This is great. Like, I love this.
And there's also, I was wondering too, like, why doesn't, I mean, like, how large is this host? I don't know if we get like later on, maybe we'll get more of that. But
Sauron's host.
Yeah, Sauron's host
is like innumerable.
Yeah,
they couldn't even. It was like a sea.
So
I know it's nuts.
But I mean, the thing is, like, it was back there. It was where Frodo was, and they needed to draw that force out.
Yeah, it's out.
Yeah, and they took their. I don't know. It also made me think, like, how much fear do you have for? Was it 7,000? That they took with them?
They said I think they were down to like 6. But
6,
yeah, 6,000-7,000. Yeah.
I mean, that's I know they have to have some major respect.
Yeah.
For these guys.
I know. And I thought it was interesting too how they talked about they took those 2 hills, those like 2 smaller hills in the field.
Yes.
So
they had the banners on the other side,
and they've got a point of kind of like height, and they're able to withstand attack a little bit better. Yeah.
Okay, well let's pull out some just our favorite quotes or passages from this and things. To start it all off, as we said, Merry is upset. He's not able to go on, and it's Aragorn who tells him that you're not fit for such a journey. But do not be ashamed. If you do no more in this war, you have already earned great honor. Yeah. And maybe
that would have to feel pretty good coming from her. I mean, hearing that from Strider, right? I mean,
and I would even say maybe an understatement.
Yeah, right.
He's done quite a bit.
Yeah.
So and I would imagine too. I mean, again, if Faramir, if the others were better off, that they would have been wanting to go as well. Yeah, right.
Absolutely.
So, because they're still in the houses of healing, right?
Yes,
they're still.
Yes, they are. Yeah.
Okay. So, But fear not though, okay, because Peregrine shall go and represent the Shire folk.
Yeah.
Do not grudge him his chance of peril. So, and they even kind of talk about, if we fail, if this doesn't go well,
we're going to need you guys.
We're going to need you.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah.
And so that would even be more, oh my gosh, like I'm thinking if I'm married, that's going to cause even more fear and anxiety, thinking like, not only could I lose them and I'm not going with them if they do succeed, then there's this whole possibility that I might have to be ready to be back here and defend another long defeat.
Yep.
Yep. And it's wild. I love the time he takes to write about them leaving, and it just from Merry's perspective, the last glint of the morning sun on spear and helm twinkled and was lost, and still he remained with bowed head and heavy heart, feeling friendless and alone. And really think about it, he is alone. I mean, it's like, well, I mean, I guess he's been the only Hobbit for a while now, like since Pippin went to Gondor, but they had just had that reunion and probably didn't anticipate being separated. You know, and think about how much hobbits need each other too.
Yes,
like they just love. They love being
that
together.
Friendship.
Feeling friendless and alone, everyone that he cared for had gone away into the gloom that hung over the distant eastern sky. And again, I guess really thinking about like Sam and Frodo are out there too.
Yep,
all my Hobbit friends are out.
They're out there. Yes,
and little hope at all was left in his heart that he would ever see any of them again. I wonder too how much of this was like literally biographical from Tolkien. World War One.
Yeah.
Out in the trenches.
Right.
Your friends all go different ways, and you're looking out into the gloom thinking he's probably over there somewhere.
Right.
Or who God knows where, and I'll probably never see them again.
Yeah. Yeah. Where are they?
I think that like a lot of people look at that and they're like, oh, you're despairing. Yeah, I guess I see it as like you're grappling with grief.
Sure.
You're preparing for it. Like there's nothing wrong with that. I think you're worse off if you're everything's going to be fine. Yeah, there's not going to be any problems. They'll go out there, and then something bad happens and you're like so shocked that because you were delusional and thinking nothing bad could happen. I think that that is something that is very respectable, and a way that we should be is to think, yeah, you know what, this is a possibility, man. Like they're going to go and they're going to die. That odds are, because odds were that they were going to go out and they were all going to get slaughtered.
Yep.
And you'd never see them again. That is the more probability of that happening than the opposite. And so what he's doing is he's just preparing for that. He's preparing for that. He's embracing that is a possibility.
Yeah, and so
that's noble, man. That's noble.
Well, and so you can do both too, right? So you can be. That's what's great is that you can say, okay, I'm prepared for this. That may be happening, but I still have this sliver of hope, and I'm still going to be whatever.
That is so precious to me. I might not even mention it.
Yes, sure.
And there's the flip side with Denethor, where he saw the same kind of dark future. It might have been distorted because he was being fed from Sauron, but same kind of dark future that Merry sees here, and he reacted very differently, and he chose a different kind of path, and maybe he didn't have that. Well, everything's going to be fine. Thought deep down inside, or everything could be fine.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So, moving on then a bit. So as again, you've got everyone there assembled.
His pain comes back too. There. Did you catch that?
Yes.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, you are still in pain, I see. Yeah, I will help you back into the healers. So, and so Aragorn knew he is the healer. I mean, he knows. He knows that he's still in pain and he can't make this journey, as he said to him. So, but they do. It was to say around noon that they came to Osgiliath, right? And so, they've got their host and they're moving. And what's interesting, and not to if I skip through anything, just kind of slow me down here, but it's like the heralds. So a couple paragraphs down here, it says that he sent out the trumpeters.
Yeah.
Okay. Each of the four roads that ran into the ring of trees, and they blew like a great fanfare. And they cried aloud, "The lords of Gondor have returned, and all this land that is theirs, they take back."
Yeah.
Right. So
reclaiming the land. I've got it off I wrote it off in the margin. I said reclamation, cleansing the land. Mm-hmm. So literally, as they're moving on. So he's not only, he's healing it. He's healing his kingdom here.
Yes, he is.
He healed people in the houses of healing, and here he is, healing and cleansing these areas that have been taken over by, and just that proclamation. That's big. Yeah, it's like we deal so much with silence, and this is the very opposite of that. It's open proclamation that, hey, here we are. This is ours again. We're making it official by these words. So if you wanna fight, bring it on now.
Yeah.
Let's go.
And the answer is silence.
Yep.
Going clear back to the Fellowship, one of the scariest things, like, it was the silence of those Black Riders moving around and how eerie everything was.
Yes.
And it just was, so that is the answer that they're getting back.
Yeah.
And now, one thing that's interesting, they're also, just an important note, they're at the crossroads. And this is the spot where they see kind of the perversion of one of the old, like the statue of the king, right? And
and they fix it, don't they?
They fix it.
Yes,
so as you
do.
said, the cleansing, like they're going through kind of, getting some of that done, which is awesome. The hideous orchid, there you go. That set upon the carven figures was cast down and broken into pieces, and the old king's head was raised and set in its place once more, and it was still crowned with white and golden flowers.
Yeah.
So there's a little connection.
It says they labored too. They're going to go fight this inevitable battle, and they're taking the time to. I'm thinking, like, gosh, you just were through this siege, and if you're a rider of Rohan, you were cavalry duties, right? So you got to be exhausted, dude.
Oh, sure.
You got to be exhausted, but you took the time to, and you got to be constantly thinking about energy and conserving it and having enough and being ready. And they took the time to do that. That's how important it was. And
well, so
statement it makes too.
Yeah, absolutely. Something you mentioned when we were reading the summary was this idea that Imrahil had said during the great debate, because it was a debate. There were different ideas that were put forward, and really everyone kind of leaned to Gandalf's. They're going to lead to his counsel. He was sent here for this purpose.
Yeah. Don't forget it.
That silence. Just let it. Don't
forget it, buddy boy.
Don't forget that. Like that's what he's here for, and so he's going to strive with the Dark Lord now.
Yep.
And but so anyways, so during that debate, they had counseled that Minas Morgul should be first assailed, and if they might take it, it should be utterly destroyed.
Right.
And then Imrahil says, and maybe the road that leads thence to the pass above will prove an easier way of assault upon the Dark
go
Lord.
Through Shelob's Lair and all that,
right,
the stairs.
Then the northern gate, So, but again, this Gandalf had spoken at this. He had spoken urgently because of the evil that dwelt in the valley, where the minds of living men would turn to madness and horror.
Yeah.
And because also of the news that Faramir had brought.
Yeah.
For if the ring-bearer had indeed attempted that way, then above all they should not draw the eye of Mordor thither. So,
because they don't know,
Right.
The other thought that popped into my mind too is something. It's all these elements that are totally out of control of, these different groups of people, right? So, just imagine if Gollum would have quietly had his victory.
Sure. Yeah.
And this would have been long ago decided.
Yep.
And then this would have been even more, not needless, but more of a just, you're walking into an utter defeat. There would have been zero, not little hope. There would have been zero hope. Mm-hmm. Like and that is a huge. Dude, the fact that Gollum wasn't able to trick them, and that Shelob was unsuccessful is. She almost was. She was half successful, but it's because of Samwise that she was defeated. Sure. And it's just like, holy crap, man! It would have been a very, very different realization for us as readers that oh wow, they are screwed.
Yes,
because Sam and Frodo are dead, or the ring is lost again. Not even in, almost worse than being found by Sauron, just lost again. Yeah, that's just lost again. Then it means that's just more time that he's able to prevail,
right? To build up his
and that
forces,
you have to be able to fight him. Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
That would be yes. Yep. So, but thankfully, old Sam was there.
Yeah, he was
doing what he was sent to do.
Yep.
So, okay, so the next day, when the main host came up, they set a strong guard upon the crossroads to make some defense. If Mordor should send a force over the Morgul Pass, or should bring more men up from the south. For that guard, they chose mostly archers who knew the ways of Ithilien. So, they're just kind of... They do keep a small little host back, which I kind of forgot at the crossroads, which is interesting.
Yeah, it is.
So those guys are going to chill there for a little bit, and what are they going to do?
I don't know. Play some cards.
Because they talk about there's creepy things sneaking around at night and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah,
did they make it?
Yeah, really. That's seriously, dude. They're
Jesus, that's crazy.
That's a great question. Did they make it?
So, so those guys are staying there, and then everybody else is kind of moving on here. So, all right, let's move on now. The day after, being the third day since they set out from Minas Tirith, the army began northward. And so it kind of talks about the idea that they went the direction that Frodo went. You remember initially when Gollum kind of takes him up north and they come in northwest or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah, so kind of coming in the same way there.
The desert and then the marshes off in the distance and everything.
Right.
Yep.
Exactly. So, they talk about the weather. They talk about just the conditions here, that they're getting worse.
And the wind shift was interesting too, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And when it finally settles, man, it comes out of the north.
Yeah.
Just like our king.
Right. That is interesting. Yes, it is.
It was a western. Remember so much we've talked about the east wind and how that's, Mordor and evil, and even the east wind and folklore is all just wickedness.
Mm-hmm.
And then how the wind had shifted after the Battle of Pelennor.
Yeah.
There was a western wind.
Yes, there was.
Right.
Let's go.
Because the west had awoken.
Let's go.
And then how it's sort of like it's up in the air now. No pun intended. North, it's not east or west.
Right.
It's a north wind.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It's not like wind blowing the weather that Sauron contrived back, nor Sauron's weather being allowed to push westward. It's this north wind.
And it's weird too. It's like a smaller host. They're going in there, but it seems like the powers of the world or nature or whatever powers of good are
much more even.
Yeah, pushing them onward and stuff.
Yeah.
So which is cool. And also, what's interesting too is that Gandalf kind of had the trumpets and the heralds were out there, and they're crying, "The Lords of Gondor are come." So it's like, but they're what does he say? Imrahil says, "Say not the lords." Right, but say King Elisar. Make sure we say that.
Bring it on, baby.
Ooh, big deal.
Yes, sir.
In hearing that, it's sort of like the king has returned, right? So that's going to send some fear, hopefully, into those who are out there. And maybe I almost wonder too. They talk about the when they would go to sleep, they would talk about how they wouldn't sleep because of the creeping things, and they knew that there was a host or that there were enemies all around them. But I think because those heralds had said what they said, they weren't willing to attack and risk anything yet. Because I wonder if the Dark Force was sort of like, all right, we know what our role is this, but they get anxious and they want a piece of the pie and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So,
man flesh.
Yeah.
Then you also have the whole concept too that if this is really working how they think, then them proclaiming, hey, it's not just the lords, it's the king, would make Sauron think even more that, they've got the ring.
Yeah, they're coming. You're right.
Yeah. They're getting even more emboldened.
I didn't even think about that.
There's hubris here. The king?
Right.
King Elisar?
So he's coming to use
he's definitely
his power.
Got the ring.
Right. Which is why...
Yeah, not only is he foolishly coming in here...
He's willing to throw his whole host at him and everything. Yeah,
but he's even proclaiming, hey, I'm here.
Right.
Maybe that's part of the whole distraction, diversion.
That makes sense. So, 3 days, 3 times a day, they were going out and they were claiming, here comes the king and everything. So they're, but that doesn't really fire anybody up.
Their hearts are downcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just read that part.
Right. So that's interesting. The further on that they went, I don't know, things are getting more dire. You can almost feel this darkness creeping in around you, and this is where we talked about at the beginning that these guys will get a task here in just a little bit. Some of them, anyways.
The Nazgul also show up here too, right? And it's only legless. Right. That's part of the presence too that they can feel. The entire host can feel that the Nazgul are present, but it's only Legolas who can see them.
Who can see them? Yeah,
and they're kind of like circling like vultures, and just imparting this dread on the entire, all of the forces of good.
Yeah,
I don't know.
No,
sleep.
Yeah. Hey, hey, I mean,
never mind.
We out here, bro.
Yeah, we out here. It's 11 a.m., dog.
We out here. We out here taking care of stuff. So yeah, all right. As you said, the Nazgul were there. So moving on a little bit here. So time and the hopeless journey wore away. They keep moving forward. It was the 4th day from the crossroads. It was actually the 6th day from Minas Tirith. They come at last to sort of the end of like, I'm guessing, some of the greenery. It's getting pretty brown. It's getting pretty...
Yeah, and they can even see the desert and the marshes, and this is where they're really kind of,
Right.
You can see Emmanuel in the distance. They're very close. It's becoming real, so much so that this is part of why we get this reaction from some of these soldiers, some of the younger among them.
Well, I want to go right to that. I mean, he says, so he notices that he sees this, Aragorn, that being, perceives it, and he says, "Go, but keep what honor you may, and do not run. There is a task which you may attempt, and be not wholly shamed. Take your way southwest till you come to
Carandros.
Yep. That's what you said earlier.
Yeah.
Good job.
I remembered something. How about that?
You got it, buddy. You got it. And so to go there, he believes that it has been taken by the enemy, and he wants it taken back, and he wants it held.
Yeah.
Pretty big.
It's a huge task, isn't it?
That's cool. And these guys were, again, we said it's the legend, right? This is stuff they didn't believe in. Like, what? Are you kidding me? They were unmanned, is what it was said, right?
Yeah, the way Tolkien worded it was perfect. It's worth reading. For these were young men from Rohan, from Westfold far away, or husbandmen from Lesserneck, and to them Mordor was more, or had been from childhood, a name of evil and yet unreal, a legend that had no part in their simple life. And now they walked like men in a hideous dream made true, and they understood not this war, nor why fate should lead them to such a pass.
Now that's what I thought was important, and actually, what makes me, when you think about this, if you're leading men to battle, you're leading them to die,
they need all their wits. For one,
they
fight.
do. Yeah, they also need to know why they're fighting.
Right.
See, that was the big. You look at like in our own history, right? When the country or men or people don't understand what we're fighting for, what's going on, why are we here?
Right.
It's discouraging,
and it's
right. It would be very discouraging.
Very discouraging.
Even though we know that there's a good cause here, they might not fully understand that. They didn't grow up around Gondor, kind of living this life and understanding that this is the fortress of Mordor.
It's so crazy to stop and think about too. None of these soldiers, none of these, even the captains and the leaders of Gondor, Prince Imrahil, they don't know about Frodo and the ring.
No,
they have no idea that that's also going on.
Right.
And if they were to know, that would that change things for them? I don't know. I mean, I have no idea. Would that cause them to like utterly despair, or would it strengthen them and think, oh, we've got an ace in the hole, man? Like we have a, there is a chance, there is a hope. I don't know. It's crazy, isn't it?
And the weird thing is too is that hope they can actually see through Aragorn, just in how he's behaving, right? So
so it's communicated in a different way. Yeah, you're right.
But I mean, I almost wonder if they did know. Would there be? You don't want to risk that, clearly.
Sure, yeah.
But at the same time, you're sort of like, there's something. This guy believes in something. There's something else. There's more to this than meets the eye. And really, if you're, I don't know, if you got called up and you're a simple farmer from a faraway land, or
from Amanda,
from wherever, you don't know that what they've got seeing stones, and they've got a wizard here. I mean, what's going on?
These folk real good.
There's something going on here, feathers.
Feathers.
I thought I said fellows. Fellers.
I think you did. I just heard feathers. Giant eagle on the brain. I don't know.
Hey. It's coming up. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So now they.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Which is awesome.
Wow.
So, but now
I've never read it before, so it's kind of a shock.
This is all new. Yeah, this is all new. Yeah. So now as he gives this advice to those men who he wants to give. He gives the other task, right?
Mm-hmm.
And some of them take it. More of them, though, I think, were sort of like, no, okay,
right,
like let's go, like get your wits about you.
Yeah,
let's go.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just need that. Sometimes you get spooked or you get whatever you need. Something you need. You need that leadership. That's why you have your leaders. You're great captains.
And that thought probably of like, you're gonna have to leave this great host. You're gonna have to leave the king, and you're gonna have to go do this task. The reality of that would probably make you think, no, I'm good here. I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm good. I don't want to be the leader. I don't want to go to. I'm good to stay in line and probably die for this, but that's a good thing.
Right.
Better than going over there and trying to retake something and having no clue how to do it and dying there. Right.
See, I think what it was is that they were standing on the brink of like, okay, we're standing on somewhat green grass here, and we look out and we see just nothing. I mean, just dead, barren.
Yep.
Like that looks like we shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And and all these legends, like you said, coming to life, like the Eiffel Dwarf, the mountains, just the teeth, and the very thought that like at any moment you're gonna see the gates.
Yes.
You're gonna see the. Yeah.
Well, and they're feeling the Nazgul up above, all that stuff. Everybody's kind of
they're being felt. Yeah,
kind of shook, if you will.
Yeah, they got shook. They shook, bro.
Ah, man. Okay, so we were, as you said earlier, 6,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the captains are heading towards Mordor, and here we go. They advance now slowly, expecting at every hour some answer to their challenge. They drew together, since it was but waste of men to send out scouts or small parties from the main host. And this is where I said at night, they were noticing that, like, oh my God, we're like surrounded by these individuals, and it's like darker than usual. I mean, even though it's a clear night, the moon is.
They're hearing howling of wolves too, and you get that idea or that feeling of like you're out camping at night, and you know where your firelight throws to, and then there's beyond that.
Mm-hmm.
And if you hear something beyond that, you're like, what the heck was that?
Right.
Anything could be out there.
Yeah.
And you hear stories of like, well, I listen to a lot of, Sasquatch encounters. I'm just going to say it.
Yeah.
I am who I am, okay? And you always hear these stories of people who are like being harassed at a campsite at night, and it always happens right beyond that where the firelight is being thrown.
Yep.
And I would imagine even with, so you don't believe in that, that's fine. With other predators, it would be the same way. If you got bluff charged or something, they would do it so that you wouldn't be able to see them. They're trying to scare you away.
They're going to use the dark to their advantage. Yeah.
It's just it's a terrifying image. I mean, you're,
Well, it makes me think too, I wonder if they were getting harassed a little bit there on the outskirts, but somebody throwing rock. Are they banging against trees? It was silent too, though. That was the thing too. Like they could hear some. They knew things were moving in the dark, but there's still that silence in between.
Yeah,
and that's what's scary.
And the moon was pretty full too. It had just waxed, right? Mm-hmm. So that's interesting too. That even with all that, I mean, you seemingly have enough light, and like you said, there isn't any noise, but it's almost like the silence is scarier than if there was a bunch of stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
Or normal noise. I don't know. It's just very, because it's not what you expect. I think you'd probably expect to go in and be ambushed and be harassed and have all this pushback. And so the fact that you're not, and every second that you're not, it creates like a paranoia. Like when is it going to happen?
Because
I know it's going to happen.
They could have sent
the anticipation is worse than anything, isn't it?
Right.
I know it's going to happen. When?
And here's the thing. I actually think they wanted like this showdown with the mouth of Sauron to take place.
Yeah.
Within the sight and the seeing or whatever of the Great Eye. They wanted it all to be witnessed out there because they honestly right now could surround them and they could cut off their retreat.
Yeah.
They could send their whole host out there and we could get this on right now. But I think they want to draw them right in.
Yeah, they'd have the power to scatter them too.
Yeah.
They could get them all divided and stuff, and they wouldn't know where they are, and the weaker of them would freak out and lose their minds. And
sure.
Yeah, I think that's totally a valid point, and it's like, and it's like we said, Sauron's enjoying every second of this.
Yeah, he is.
He's getting his jollies, man.
Yep, classic bad guy move here.
Yeah, classic bad guy, big douchebag.
Yep, making a big mistake. Totally. So, okay, but here we go. So now we're there, right? We're at the Black Gate. So in the morning, right? Came the wind. So as the morning came, the wind began to stir again. Yeah, as you said, but now it came from the north.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
and it coming to a rising breeze.
Yes.
I think the parallels between Aragorn coming from the north are just ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah. So and actually, they don't really all the Night Walkers and everything that they had kind of sensed were gone, if you will, and they make their way up to these. Looming towers.
Those also could have been like spirits and whites and stuff too.
I don't know if they were actually.
They could have been just like, God, who knows what.
They're called Night Walkers.
Night Walkers. That makes me think of the Barrow Wights.
Yeah,
just like some sort of formless, shapeless spirits that are just bad mojo out there, man.
Right. Yeah, that might be more likely. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I mean. But again, they weren't sending scouts out, so they didn't really know. So we don't know. I mean, but yeah. Okay. So here we go. We got these two vast iron doors of the Black Gate.
Yeah.
And this is a pretty scary looking thing. They did a great job in the film.
Perfect.
It looks
yeah, it's perfect.
Don't they even say, like, is there some point where they talk about, like, how many minutes it would take to man that gate and that wall and everything? And it's just, like, a ridiculous amount. That maybe even our own host might not have enough
to even do that.
To do that.
Yeah,
like,
right. Yeah.
So that's pretty ridiculous. Oh yeah. So they were come to the last end of their folly, and they stood forlorn and chill in the gray light of early day before towers and walls which their army could not assault with hope. So here we are. What are we going to do? They actually see the Nazgul kind of hovering over top of the towers. They had now come down to where you could see them, but the enemy makes no sign. They make no move. They don't play their piece. So the choice was then left, to move forward with their own plan. And so send out our boy. Get the king out there.
Yep.
And he goes out and kind of. Makes his battle cry, if you were, like he charges Mordor with crimes.
I love this, and I love that this is in the extended edition. Aragorn says this: "Let the Lord of the Black Land come forth; let justice be done upon him." Mm-hmm. And I don't know, I love that.
Isn't it crazy? He goes there and he's demanding this.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring justice to you, mothers.
Right. It's not like we're coming here. No.
We're not parlaying.
Yeah. I mean, really, also too, it's almost like he kind of gave this dark army like a warning: bring your master forward.
Right.
Let me deal with him directly.
Yep.
The rest of you, we'll talk afterwards.
Yeah.
But there might be some pardons in play. There might be whatever. But like, bring. I mean, he's the deceiver. He's the one. Right.
Yes, and I can't remember Gandalf's wording, but doesn't he pretty much say like give up? When the mouth does come out, it's exactly that. It's, tell your master he's defeated.
Yep.
Withdraw. Mm-hmm. And
he gives him his own terms.
Yeah. It's like it's so funny because it's like we don't have to talk to everyone. We have to talk to whoever's in charge here. Come on out.
Right.
And here's what's going to happen.
Right. Exactly. So now one thing that's interesting, Gandalf being the chief herald there, does mention. Or we forgot, I haven't mentioned it yet, but the sons of Elrond being there.
Yeah.
Éomer is there, right? Imrahil, Legolas, Gimli, Pippin, all the fellas. All the fellas. So,
Sauron, that's that line, man, but Sauron had already laid his plans, and he had a mind first to play with these mice cruelly before he struck to kill.
There you go. Yeah. Yes. Right.
This is where the embassy comes out, right?
Yep.
The Dark Tower.
Yeah, I mean, literally. So the lieutenant of the tower.
The description is so
Barad-dûr,
cool.
Yeah.
Black Númenórean.
Is that
doesn't
what he
even
is?
remember his name?
That's what he is, right?
Yeah.
So that's wild.
Yeah, gosh. The rider was robed all in black, and oh, geez, even the horse. I got to go back to the horse too, man. At his head there rode a tall and evil shape, mounted upon a black horse, if horse it was, for it was huge and hideous, and its face was a frightful mask, more like a skull than a living head, and in the sockets of its eyes and its nostrils there burned a flame. Like what? The rider was robed all in black, and black was his lofty helm. Yet this was no ringwraith, but a living man. The lieutenant of the Tower of Barad-dûr he was, and his name is remembered in no tale, for he himself had forgotten it. And he said, I am the mouth of Sauron. But it is told that he was a renegade, who came of the race of those who are named the Black Númenóreans, for they established their dwellings in Middle-earth during the years of Sauron's domination, and they worshipped him, being enamored of evil knowledge, and he entered the service of the Dark Tower when it first rose again. And because of his cunning, he grew even higher in the Lord's favor, and he learned great sorcery, and knew much of the mind of Sauron, and he was more cruel than any orc. That's just thinking about the show right now. Right. We could get some Black Númenóreans going on.
Right.
And how interesting will that be?
Yeah, that would be. So, like, I mean, is this guy super old, or is he someone recent, or is he just descended from these guys? I mean, is it?
I think he's descendant from the Black Númenórean, but also, I mean, if Númenóreans have longer life than he would as well,
been around.
And that he's so old that, or just so twisted and messed up, and who knows? Maybe Sauron has enabled him to have a longer life as well.
Perhaps with the sorcery, yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something that's not outside of his abilities, I wouldn't think.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, just his description. Anytime like something is so messed up, it doesn't remember its own name.
Mm-hmm.
That shows a detachment from anything that I mean, like, dude, I can't imagine not remembering my own name.
I know, man. It's crazy.
And so it's just like, this dude is vile. His description, his horse.
Well, look at Gollum and like what he went through until the ring was gone from him.
Sure. Yeah.
What was he thinking?
Yeah.
With it, so.
Yep.
With his identity.
And they got the banner, a black banner with the evil eye on it.
Yeah. Yeah, and so this is...
and laughs at him.
That's the other thing. Like the audacity, the way that he comes out here. I mean, is there anyone in this route with authority to treat with me? He's just scorn. I mean, there's all sorts of mockery
here.
Dude,
that next line, or indeed with wit to understand me.
Wow.
Is anyone even smart enough to get me?
Right,
Is this pointless, my talking to you?
Yeah, not thou at least he turned and he mocked Aragorn with scorn.
Yeah.
Man, holy cow. It needs more to make a king than a piece of elvish glass. Well, at least he knows. He knows.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does.
Mock him if you want, but
he kind of gives himself away there too, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah. So, Aragorn said not an answer, but he took the other's eye.
I love this.
He took the other's eye and he held it, and for a moment they strove thus. But soon, though Aragorn did not stir nor move, hand to weapon, the other quailed and gave back as if menaced with a blow.
They capture this perfectly in the movie.
Yeah.
He does that thing where he comes out and starts talking, and Aragorn's just death glares him.
Right.
And then as he continues, I mean, he does all the stuff. He throws the mithril on what's about to happen, the waistcoat and everything,
mm-hmm.
and everyone reacts. But he just strides towards him, whips out his sword, and beheads him. And it's like, that is in that one little. It doesn't not what happens in the book, but in that one little line, it's like, I see why they went there.
Yep,
it's like this. My gosh, dude, he's just so confident. He's not shaken by anything.
No,
he's not shaken by anything.
It's a small little point, but it is really he did strive with him there. He was really they were. I mean, just in a look.
That stuff doesn't happen anymore, though. You know what I mean? No. Like, how often do you see people just going, like, with their eyes just locked?
True.
And just death glare. Like, it doesn't have. It's sports.
Mm-hmm.
It happens in sports. I don't know any other way. Any other. People don't even look each other in the eye anymore.
I know,
because it's too confrontational. So imagine just that power struggle, like in the same way that Gandalf and Denethor had it. Right. Previously in this book, they had that moment of silence where they're just staring at each other, and Pippin he felt there was a battle going on that no one could see.
Yeah. Yep.
A battle of wits.
That's true. If you really think about it, so like even sometimes when I really want to make like my kids, when they know that I'm being serious, I mean, I do not
say anything.
I don't say anything, and I also look at them, and I do not break eye contact with them.
Yep.
I mean, I am just locked in there.
Yeah. Okay. So it does. You know
what I'm saying?
Yep. It happens in the classroom.
But not in a. I mean, it's more just like I don't need to raise my voice too much or whatever.
Right, yeah.
I can just use that. And
you're getting a point across is what you're doing.
Yeah. And then they're good. They break away. They do what they're supposed to do. Cool. Back to back. Here we go. So, but it is neat. You don't see it used very often, and you don't see it's not something that.
I mean, that's maybe why it's so powerful too. I guess.
Which is great.
Used.
Yeah.
So,
anyways, this is neat, and I can see why they did what they did in the film with just taking his head off because he says, "I'm a herald and ambassador, and may not be assailed." He cried, and so he's like really worried that he's going to be killed here.
Yeah.
He's like, "Whoa, hold on, guys! This here's the customs
changes
and stuff
his tune
like
pretty quickly, doesn't he?
Yeah, all of a sudden he's just like, you're not allowed to kill me. I'm a official ambassador and like coming out here to give you terms."
Right.
So, again, it kind of says, is the custom also for you to come out here and insult us too? Is that, come on now. You're also breaking form here. You have not to fear from us until your errand is done. But unless your master has come to new wisdom, then with all his servants you will be in great peril.
Man.
Like, wow, just let him have it.
Jeez.
So, said the messenger, then thou art the spokesman, old graybeard. Mm-hmm. So here we go. Now this is the first guy who's speaking to him. Gandalf is the one who's going to speak with me. Let me go back and forth in words here with this guy. Does he know who he's talking to? He's talking to Gandalf.
It says Master Gandalf.
Man.
Yeah,
I don't think he truly understands who he knows who he's talking to.
He might not. I mean, he might not. Or it might be all part of his play, right? I mean, he just downplayed...
No, I think he does really know. I might just mean like,
yeah.
I wouldn't be talking.
How powerful he is.
I wouldn't be talking to my old boy like that.
Well, and maybe he knows him as Gandalf the Grey.
Sure.
Who wasn't because he doesn't Gandalf uncloak himself here too.
He does right here. Yeah.
And he still has this gray cloak that he not tricks people, but he can choose to reveal himself.
That's right.
In his full power and that's how maybe he's just known as that. Because really that transformation didn't happen that long ago.
Right, it did not.
So
and this is big. It is big that he has this type of power. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the messenger here has tokens. Has these he was tokens that he was bid to show to the
3 of them.
Yeah.
3 tokens.
3 tokens.
Again, come on, dude. Like, stop.
To thee especially, if thou shouldest dare to come. He signed to one of his guards, and they came forward bearing a bundle, all in black cloth. And this is where we kind of get, Pippin's reaction to this is just, how would you react, right? I mean, you don't know what they're going to bring in here, and these are your friends, and you've already been kind of despairing a little bit, but they pull out like the gray cloak with the elven, brooch.
As I said.
Yes. Yep. The coat of mithril is there. Isn't there not a sword? Was there something else there too?
Yeah, Sam's short sword.
Was it there? Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna cry out like that's not something, especially the mithril coat. That's not something easily taken off of somebody.
No, you'd have to be dead.
He's dead, man.
Right.
I mean,
and
that's what's tough. Like a sword you could drop, a cloak, whatever. But that was
I wish, dude. I wish I could be like alive in 55 or 4 or whenever this one came out. Mm-hmm. Read it for the first time and be like, what?
Right.
What is going on?
Yep.
Because we haven't. Oh, I'd have to go back to the end of Two Towers, but we don't know that. Do we? Do we know that? We just know that Frodo was taken. We don't know that stuff was taken off of him.
Sure.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. Right.
So they could have taken him because we're left on that cliffhanger of what Sam what's going to happen to Frodo.
Yep.
Sam's got to figure this out.
Right.
Right. Okay. Yep. That's what I thought.
That's right. Yeah.
That's what I thought. Yeah. But
yes. So this is why it's so suspenseful. We don't know
huge. It's
how
huge. Yeah.
they got it, and it's clearly. Pippin has seen it, and so that lets the messenger know that here we go. You've seen these things.
Yeah.
Because he steps out from behind Prince Imrahil and goes forward, and Gandalf
calls them imps.
Yeah, right. Jeez. So they believe they're spies, right? They think that they're spies who've been sent into into Mordor and stuff, and that was maybe their errand. So, he's kind of mocking Gandalf, saying, don't deny it. I saw the reaction from one of the imps.
Yeah.
Right. And so clearly this is significant. And it's interesting. He says, indeed, I know them all and all their history. Despite your scorn, foul mouth of Sauron, you cannot say as much. But why do you bring them here? And so he wants to know what's the purpose of this. So trying not to give anything else away, really, that this would be a significant blow to them. Let's see. Dwarfcoat, Elfcoat, Blade of the Downfallen West, and Spy from the Little Rat Land of the Shire. Nay, do not start. We know it well. So that's interesting too, that they've heard about the Shire, and we know where they got that information from.
Yep.
Which is interesting that the Shire comes into play in all this, right? Just this land far away with these
far away.
Yeah. That it's got the attention of the Dark Lord.
Right. I think that it was the Nazgul that were sniffing around.
Yeah, man.
Don't forget the sniffing.
Don't know. Oh,
it's been a while.
You're right. If so, take swift counsel with what little wit you have left, for Sauron does not love spies, and what his fate shall be depends now on your choice. So, that he's going to give him terms here, right? Eventually, he's kind of mocking again, more so realizing that he was dear to Gandalf and everything.
He was dear to the IC.
He what?
Oh, just the Mouth of Sauron's voice in the film is hilarious.
Oh, yeah. I haven't seen the extended edition in a long time. I think I've maybe seen that once.
I wanted to actually play it for us.
Yeah, literally one time I've seen it. I don't think I've ever seen it.
Oh my gosh, we'll watch it after this.
Yeah, like Fellowship I've watched over and over and over again, and the extended edition.
Dude, the extended edition of Return of the King is 4 hours and 26 minutes.
Gee, many Christmas.
I mean, it's a long haul.
It's awesome.
It is.
Yeah,
it's what's the guy's name? Bruce Hopkins, maybe? The actor who played him and voiced him, and he does sort of this broken Russian accent.
Okay, yeah.
It's crazy. He was dear to the IC. He does a weird smile thing.
Yeah, the quick move. Yeah.
It's crazy. Thought it was great though.
Yeah. Well, and so he does at least know that he hits a mark there for sure.
Yeah.
And you almost see a little bit of a change in Gandalf here, but he does say, "Name the terms." And those that were nearby saw the anguished look in his face.
Yeah.
So he does have this. He almost appears older and wizened and crushed
previously
a little bit.
He just talked about how they'll make him suffer as only the Dark Tower can.
That's right.
Yeah.
Slow torment of the years. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And so that's sort of the plan there, unless they come to some terms here. So the messenger says, "These are the terms, right? The rabble of Gondor and its deluded allies shall withdraw at once beyond the Anduin. First, taking oaths never again to assail Sauron the Great in arms, open or secret." Whoa. Okay. All lands east of the Anduin shall be Sauron's forever solely. West of the Anduin, as far as the Misty Mountains, and the Gap of Rohan shall be tributary to Mordor. And men there shall bear no weapons, but shall have leave to govern their own affairs. It sounds pretty fair. That's a pretty good deal, right?
See, this is yeah, right. But it's also weird to me because it is kind of like a weak play for Sauron, isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean, is it just a trick, or is he really peeing himself here?
Well, see, and that's the thing. He
has nothing.
That has to be what Gandalf sees,
right? Because he's got nothing. Because all he has
if he truly had Frodo,
right?
Then
he wouldn't be having a conversation,
right? The fact that he gives him these terms here lets Gandalf, I think, know you don't have the ring yet. If you had it, you wouldn't even. We
wouldn't be talking.
You wouldn't give us an inch. You wouldn't even.
You would have killed us.
Because some of this is sort of like, okay, there's a little sliver of like, okay, we'll make these oaths. We'll go back. We'll do this. Like, you guys stay over there. We're gonna stay over here. But yeah,
that's exactly
we'll
what it is. Yeah,
tribute to you guys and everything like that. Whatever. So there's that, and that actually shows still a little bit of maybe even fear from Sauron, but also just that, like, he doesn't have the ring.
Right.
He doesn't know where it's at. So
right.
Okay.
And it's also a setup for his own little dominion, the Mouth of Sauron, that we see here too.
Oh yeah, sure. He wants to go. Yeah,
he wants to rule west of the Anduin.
Right. Yeah. Right. And he wants Isengard. Right.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Right.
Not Saruman. Someone more trustworthy.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that was actually part of the Do you think he added that in?
I mean, I kind of wonder if this
isn't all just
if these terms aren't all his.
Right.
I mean, we've learned about all the dissension within. Remember way back in Two Towers when we're with the Uruk-hai, and none of them even know what's going on.
I know you get different factions,
and even
stuff,
the Mordor, they're like, well, I don't really know. We're just doing our own thing. It's like, so of course, like someone higher up with ambitions, like the Mouth of Sauron, yeah, maybe I'll just change the terms a little bit here.
Right.
And if they agree to them, then they're not going to know what Sauron wants. And
right. It's crazy. I just thought of this. People are probably really disappointed that we don't have a special voice for the Mouth of Sauron. We've got
dude.
we've got Wormtongue's voice, and
could we concoct something?
Well, yeah, you have to think about it. I'll give you some time to think. But Gandalf said, "These
are the terms. These rabble of Gondor, the looted allies shall withdraw, and quickly. Very old. I ain't had a lot of time. I've got to get to Isengard.
That's but that is kind of
be too comical, right?
Could you imagine him and Wormtongue talking?
I can't get away from Wormtongue's voice. I just it's so addicting.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. Okay, but he says, so let's see. This is much to demand for the delivery of one servant, that your master should receive in exchange what he must else fight many a war to gain.
Yeah.
So he's almost dismissing this.
Not a fair trade.
Yeah, right. And even though, obviously Frodo is dear to Gandalf, I mean, you get the whole, Middle Earth here to kind of consider and think about. So,
and he's also, I think at the same time, he's also defending or trying to keep secret his relationship with Frodo. Don't you think too? He's not trying to reveal too much. Like, what? Who's this? Who cares?
Right. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep. And so he kind of raises a couple questions here. Basically, maybe perhaps Gondor, had destroyed his hope in war, so that he falls to haggling. Is that what's going on here?
Yeah.
And if indeed we rated this prisoner so high, what surety have we that Sauron, the base master of treachery, will keep his part?
Right, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So where is this prisoner? Bring him out. Let's see him. Right.
Yeah.
We might consider these demands. And he's able to kind of see and perceive that they either don't have him, or maybe he really. I mean, he could also be thinking that he is dead, and that's why they can't bring him forward. But either way, I mean, they're not going to bring him forward, and so yeah. Do not bandy words in your insolence with the Mouth of Sauron, he cried. Surety you crave, Sauron gives none. If you sue for his clemency, you must first do his bidding. These are his terms. Take them or leave them. Okay, all right.
And Gandalf comes right back.
Mm-hmm. These we will take. And he rushes over. He just grabs the coat, the cloak, and the sword.
Yep.
These we will take in memory of our friend, he cried. But as for you and your terms, we reject them utterly. Get you gone, for your embassy is over and death is near to you. I mean, yeah.
Crazy, man. Threw off his cloak, too. White light shone like a sword in that black place.
Yeah. Yeah, so they're not here to kind of basically saying we're not here to mess around, but we will take these back. We're going to take these back.
And they flee. They flee. They're gone.
What are you going to do when the White Wizard comes at you and he's asking,
right.
I mean, there's no struggling against him. So,
I mean, pretty cowardly. I'm not cowardly, I guess, because they're I wouldn't want to face down Aragorn or Gandalf, but he quaked over Aragorn's looks, like that look showdown they had. and then Gandalf reveals himself, and he tucks tail and runs. I mean, it's just like, wow. You know, if that's any kind of indication of like, then you got to think, well, maybe we can fight off a bunch of orcs, no matter how many there are. If this is the guy who comes forth and he's
they might
out.
scatter too. We've learned, or we know that like once they start to see how tough this is going to be and how hard and whatever, they're going to really need to be pushed, or I mean, like some of them might scatter and run. They might say, "Let me just cower and hide back here," and you know all of that.
True that, my friend.
All right, but once he leaves, so finally we have just the drums start rolling, the fires are leaping up, the great doors of the Black Gate, they swing open, right, and then out comes this great host, and man, So here, this is it. It's on. It is on.
Yep.
And even the captains are mounting up, and there's basically no time to kind of plan this battle or to get things in order. And you see right here, Aragorn says that upon one hill, he would stand there with Gandalf, and then on the other hill, so they have the banner there, the tree and stars, and upon the other hill, hard by stood the banners of Rohan and Dol Amroth, the white horse and the silver swan, which is cool.
So cool.
Yeah. I would love to have a silver swan banner, actually.
Yeah.
That's pretty sick.
It'd be good on a t-shirt, wouldn't it?
That'd be great on a t-shirt.
It kind of sounds like, do you remember Legend of the Hidden Temple?
Yes.
That TV show?
Yeah.
Like the
iguanas and
the gold
stuff.
monkeys and stuff. And it's like the silver swans would have been a team.
Right. It would have. Yeah. So what do they do here, man? I mean, so like they're up on these two, mountains or these hills that have been raised, right? And they've got the host of Mordor rushing towards them.
Yep. Just kind of like flowing out like a sluice. Yeah, just it's interesting. It's what does Pippin say here? He says, well, now at any rate I understand poor Denethor a little better. We might die together, Merry and I, and since die we must, why not? Well, as he is not here, I hope he'll find an easier end. But now I must do my best, and I love how we see it back through Pippin's eyes. Mm-hmm. We start with the Hobbit. We build to this massive crescendo of all these powerful figures, and then we, decrescendo back down to a Hobbit.
I like that, decrescendo. Yeah,
isn't that crazy? Yeah, it's an old orchestra term.
Yep.
But I love that. It's just that perspective. It's just wonderful. And yeah, I mean it's crazy. We see these big trolls that are coming out. He does take strength in his sword, though, right? He takes out his sword.
He does.
And the intertwining shapes of red and gold and the flowing characters of Numenor glinted like fire upon the blade. This was made for just such an hour, he thought. If only I could smite that foul messenger with it. Then, almost, I should draw level with old Mary. Well, I'll smite some of this beastly brood before the end. I wish I could see cool sunlight and green grass again. And it's so funny how, not funny, but just beautiful how that's his motivation, right?
Yeah.
Just those two things, like, and how those would be, that's the basic elements of the Shire.
Right.
Cool grass and sun and just life, and how that's what he's thinking about.
And it's really what he's fighting for, too.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Yeah.
So these giant trolls come out, and oh gosh, what else? Just the description of them is crazy. Giant, heavy, knotted hands. And,
hideous. It talks about their hide and like what they look like there. So like the close fitted mesh of horny scales.
Baragond is stunned and killed. The great troll chief that smote him down bent over him, reaching out a clutch claw. For these creatures would bite the throats of those that they threw down, and it's Pippin who stabs up, pierced through the hide and went deep into the vitals of the troll, and his black blood comes like gushing out, topples forward, and
hold on a second. Baragond
gone.
No.
Baragond gone.
No. I see when I first read that.
Baragond gone, bro.
Fell.
He gone.
He died?
Dead. I mean, that's the way I took it.
As in he fell in battle.
And I can't remember if he survives. Yeah,
I can't either.
Yeah, so
I'm sorry. That just hit me. It just dawned on me there.
Shed a tear for Baragon too soon.
Wow.
T-shirt.
Wow. Sure. Jiminy.
And so it knocks Pippin out, and he kind of falls away into a great darkness. It says, and it's so funny. He feels like he drifts off into this memory of Bilbo's tale because he hears that the eagles are coming. The eagles are coming, and he's like, "No, that's not my story. That's Bilbo's.
That's Bilbo's story." Yeah.
And isn't it funny? Because I'd never made that connection before. I don't know. I must have been reading too quickly, or just stupid, or not remembering. And it's just like so funny because that's what happens to Bilbo at the Battle of the Five Armies.
Yep.
Knocked unconscious, hears that the eagles are coming.
Here comes the eagles. Yeah.
So again, just paralleling the Hobbit. Yeah. And so I guess a little bit of hope that way too, that maybe there will be some good and that our hobbits will survive in the same way that Bilbo did. And wild, man.
Right. And does he say so? This is my tale, and it is ended now.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
So we're left in another cliffhanger. Like, is Pippin dead?
Yes.
And we don't get
it literally
any kind
says his thought fled far away, and his eyes saw no more. He's gone. Yeah. Pour one out for Pippin. I mean, gee,
and Baragon.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That is sad, man.
Yeah.
So
Baragon, but not forgotten.
Wow. Sounds like the name of a podcast, my friend.
Right? Should we start one?
I think we should, and I think I like that. I like we got to have something with the mouth, of what? I mean,
getting mouthy with Sauron.
Wow.
I mean, come on.
Getting mouthy with Sauron.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad.
2 Towers of Talkback. I mean, something like that,
Right. Yeah, you're killing it now without the book, without anything. You're just over there. Oh gosh, so many names. If anybody ever wanted to start a Lord of the Rings podcast, we have a plethora of names. Oh gosh.
The Black Gateful 8.
Yeah.
Dark Emissary.
Oh my guys, just let it be late at night.
Get out.
This needs to be super late at night. Lane needs to be like sleep deprived, because we've been taking care of the babies, we've been up, all sorts of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And this comes to you. This is
just comes right out, man.
What
the Sluice podcast.
The Sluice podcast. All right.
Sleuthy Susie instead of Sleuthy.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So maybe one of these days we'll get one.
Yeah, we'll get around to it. This was an amazing chapter, though, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
You feeling for something there, bud?
Yeah, I'm trying to find the outline in my phone.
Gosh. Oh boy.
This is not our typical setup.
Do you want me to do strawberries with cream first while you?
Yeah, sure. Do you have
get into the old Bywater Post there?
Sure.
Yeah. So I was just thinking about big mouths.
Okay.
Who we're talking about the mouth of Sauron. It's kind of he's got a little he's a little mouthy. Aptly named, or maybe I don't know, ironically named. So who is the? You don't have to name names, I guess, but the biggest big mouth you ever met. Could be literal, like actually physically big mouth.
That's a big mouth.
Or just really mouthy.
Gee, many Christmas. Let me think. Honestly, you're going to think I'm kind of crazy here, but, no. I mean, I'll tell you who's kind of mouthy. Well, not in a bad way, but just sort of like...
Vocal.
Yeah. And it's Matt. My buddy Matt.
There you go.
I mean, dude, he can literally...
Dude, he would be the mouth of Sauron, wouldn't he?
He would be. He
was
loves...
dark side.
I mean, this is great because he loves to, push the... I don't know. He likes to get reactions out of people.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
So he says stuff he doesn't even freaking believe. He'll say something to get a reaction, and it's out of nowhere, and you're like, "What?" I'm like, "Why am I standing next to this guy? What is going on? What are you doing? You're embarrassing me over here. What's going on?" We'd be standing in the line for a midnight showing, and literally something would catch something out of the corner of his eye. He would look over and see something, and he would just start on this random. He'd almost pick up mid story. So yeah, this one time, and he would just go into the story about God knows what, and start mouthing off about something, about some I don't know whether it was a sports thing or bad mouthing another team or talking about who's the greatest or whatever. And it's just like out of nowhere.
Yeah,
it's a switch that he can literally just flip, and there he goes. So
that's a gift, dude.
And I don't know, it's not bad mouthy. It's just it's like you know what I'm saying. It's like it is a gift. He just can pick. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of wild. So, but I don't know. Here's something too. I used to tell my sister this all the time.
Yeah,
she's mouthy, man.
Yeah,
she was mad when I was younger. I mean, I was like,
yeah,
you got
to be careful.
You better watch out. Actually,
get that mouth smacked.
I've ever told this story. You know how when you're younger, and I don't know if this happened with you and Hillary because there's a little bit more of an age gap or whatever, but Sarah and I were like super close in age.
Yeah.
Like I was in first grade, she was in kindergarten, and I must have said something to her or whatever. I don't know what I said or did. I'm sitting down waiting for the bus, and she walks over and literally just boom punches me right in the chest. Knocked the wind out of me.
Oh yeah, dude.
You know, and I went over and told the principal, and the principal laughed. She laughed. I'll never forget it. Mrs. Snow, man. Literally, Mrs. Snow laughed at me.
That's hilarious.
And I was like, oh,
what did she say to you? Did she say anything?
Well, she was like, I don't know. She said something, and then like I just remember walking away and just like she just could not contain it and started laughing.
So funny.
I told her my sister came over and just punched me in the chest, and I was like, I can't breathe. So we used to get in these like fights or whatever, you know, like just little whatevers.
Yeah.
And as you get older, you get bigger, stronger, and you start to like the difference between us. Like we used to get in fights. I mean, we used to like wrestle and whatever, and we're pretty evenly matched a year apart when you're younger, you know.
Yeah.
Then as you get older, that changes, right?
Oh yeah, dude, it totally does.
Dude, one time we're sitting there, we got home, and I don't know, like she always did this thing, you know, like if you got up and you went away and you were in the next room, you lost your seat. You also lost the controller, and she got to watch whatever she wanted to watch.
Seat stealer, man.
Right?
Oh man.
Yeah. So I did that to her one time. And she was gone forever in the bathroom, whatever. So I sat down there, flipped the channel, started watching what I wanted, and she came back and she said, "Get up." Yeah, and I was like, "I don't think so." You do this to me all the time or whatever.
Yeah.
You know? And so then she was like, "I was watching that. It's almost over." You know, yada yada, whatever. And she had this bag of, it was either Skittles or M&Ms. I can't remember which one it was. It was M&Ms.
Both of those sound so good right now.
Peanut M&Ms, I think, actually.
Oh,
and
that's the best kind of M&M.
I know, so good. And she had them in her hand or whatever. And what did she do? Oh yeah. So she was sitting there, and I was just like, "No, get off!" I pushed her. Or I didn't push her, but I stuck my foot out. I'm on the recliner. I stuck my foot. I was like, "Get out of here!" Whatever. Yeah. And so she takes that bag of peanut M&Ms and just whacks me across the face with it. It explodes. They go all over the living room.
Oh my gosh!
And this is This is kind of embarrassing. This is as you guys know, Ez is a very sensitive guy. I'm an easygoing fella. I'm a peaceful guy. All right. I'm kind of I don't like conflict. I don't whatever. Yeah. But let me tell you, I can get stirred up a little bit. It's my sister too. So I don't know. I forget how old we were, but I mean, I guess I wasn't old enough to drive yet. So because we'd gotten on the bus and came home. Yeah. Man, dude, she hit she did it. She smacked me. She hit me across the face with that or whatever. And I don't think she meant. I don't know if she was aiming for my face or not. But
maybe she just didn't realize what was going to happen.
It just exploded. I just remember the look on. I remember her eyes going super wide, like, "Oh my god, I just did that!" And so she took off running, and because I was out of my chair. I was out of my after her, dude. And I remember going all the way back into like the back laundry room, or whatever. And she was running away. She was throwing stuff at me at this point because I'm running after her. I grabbed her. I did not know my own strength, and so, dude, I literally
bruised her up.
I didn't bruise her, but I grabbed her and put a little, the drywall's kind of weak. We know this. So, I don't know if it was my, I think it was my
through the wall.
I think it was my fist because I had her by like the shirt over. And I picked her up and I was like, "Stop moving!" Boom. I was like, "Stop!" I was like, "Don't you ever do that again?" Whatever. But I didn't realize how much stronger. I hadn't fought with her like that in a long time. And I was like, "Holy cow, man!" Yeah. And so, whatever. And it just sort of shook her up, and she I could tell that I had gone a little too far, or whatever. And I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry." She's like, "You're not gonna beat me up?" It's just like, "No, what if I ever beat you up?" I mean, like we would wrestle and stuff, but
that's hilarious.
It was crazy, man.
Like she was almost kind of a little bit disappointed.
Yeah, well, she was. Yeah, but also she was
shocked.
I think then she was
relieved.
Well, Like I think when I picked her up and I put her against the wall, she was a little scared at first, but then I set her down. And I think I hurt her a little bit, and I was like, I'm sorry, or whatever. I was like, but don't ever do that again. I was getting her in the face, and she's like, you're not going to fight me? I was like, no, I'm not going to fight you. I was like, I got the controller. Don't come back in the living room, and
hilarious.
whatever. And I remember telling Mom and Dad, I was like, I felt so bad.
What was their reaction?
Dad didn't care. He was like, she deserved it. Mom and Dad both were like,
Yeah, that's a lot.
She's mouthy,
awesome,
man.
That's good parenting right there. 100%.
But I don't. Do you know what I'm saying? Like that difference. I don't know if you.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean.
Like just as you're growing up or whatever, because we used to horse around all the time, and then we got Dude,
I remember holding my sister down and like doing that thing where you let a loogie drop on their face.
What? What? You did
not. Oh man, we fought like cats and dogs. Oh my gosh, big time. But Hillary's never been mouthy. That was always me.
Ooh.
So I was gonna out somebody.
Uh-oh.
But I don't feel like doing that. It probably wouldn't. I don't know if you could spin it in a positive way, so I'm not going to.
Okay.
I think that I'm going to go with us.
Yeah.
I think, have we ever just... I think the only time we've ever sat and like been silent is A, in a class in college, or B, recently when we watch YouTube. Otherwise, I mean, geez, dude, we talk for freaking hours.
It's nuts.
We talk for out. We've been talking for, what time is it?
It is 1:10.
We've been talking for 5 hours.
I know.
That's what we have. We get together, maybe 6.
It's crazy.
6 hours.
It's crazy.
We get together and we just freaking talk the entire time. And now we talk for fun on a podcast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
3 of them now. 3.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean that's what we do, and it's just so we are the biggest mouths. I know.
We are the mouthiest.
We got to be. And me, I mean, like me, I will sometimes I'll just say stupid stuff, and Sarah's like, what are you doing? Why are you, or like, it's really bad when I'm sleepy. Yeah. And I'll just be like, as just saying stupid crap to stay awake. And she's like, Lane, I can tell you're tired.
Right.
She's like, I know you're tired. I'm like, what? No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Yeah. She's like, yeah, you are. You're keeping yourself awake and oh my God, I feel bad, but not at all. I'm so proud and I love it. But I think like, maybe I feel bad for other people because they won't understand it and they'll get annoyed. But Winnie is the same way, dude.
Really?
Winnie will, oh my gosh, like what's she even doing now? So not only is she talking up a storm and like just crazy stuff, but she's also like doing this made up language stuff. She'll go,
whoa.
Like what you were talking about, like what Rachel does.
That's awesome.
And I'm like, oh, I remember doing that. I remember I've got a recording. We're talking about, how you've been podcasting since, the
middle school
SIG days.
Yeah, SIG days.
And I was I've got this really old tape from when I was like 5, and I had those little Fisher recorder things,
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I'm on there, and I'm like, yeah, this quote has been famous in my family since it happened. I was like, yeah, my dad, he's got a job. It's kind of cool. It's kind of shack.
What?
Yeah, shack. Yeah. And by the way, make sure your head doesn't fall off. Asha.
What?
Just like, just shack. What is shack? I made up a word, like, so it's
Shecker. Say it again.
shack.
Shecker shack.
Yeah.
That's gonna be like.
Oh, it's.
I need Phil Seidel working on
maybe that's
something.
my signature tea. Shecker Shack.
Shecker Shack.
Shecker no, that's the name of my wizard. My wizard, Shecker Shack.
Yeah.
He's a little off.
He's a little off, yeah.
It sounds like something. It sounds like Radagast's, like
his cousin,
elven name or something.
Like,
yeah. My cousin, Sugar Shack.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty. There are different versions of mouthy, though, aren't there?
Oh yeah, that's what I mean. Like
like you were saying, good mouthy, bad mouthy.
Right. It's not like somebody's
smart mouthy.
Right. Yeah.
Which I can be that way too.
Dude, I think what's funny about you sometimes is like if it depends on what we're talking about. You're also a little bit like my buddy Matt sometimes, in just that like the bold statements that you'll make.
Yeah.
Just about sports or whatever. Yeah. It's like, tell me I'm wrong. Tell me. Yeah. He was like, whoa. We're talking about Cleveland Browns or whatever. Yeah. Change my mind. Yeah. And it's like, all right, seriously.
Yeah, I know. It's fun. It is fun. Well, I love getting reaction out of people too.
It's great. That's
like, bro. If it wasn't about, oh my gosh, that's like 90% of what. Okay, no, exactly. if it wasn't about getting a reaction from me, you'd never hear me talk. I'd be a mute. I mean, like, I don't, like, I'm not really, I think that brings out the extrovert in me because I'm really naturally introverted.
Yep.
I like just kind of doing my own thing. And for a long time as a kid, I didn't talk to anybody. I didn't like reach out to make friends even. Sure. And people thought I was like kind of stuck up or something, and I wasn't. I just didn't know how to make friends. Didn't really want, you know what I mean? I think people just thought that I thought I was whatever.
No, you're just quiet
wasn't.
guy,
I was just quiet.
Right. And
because it was hard for me.
Right.
And but that whole once I learned that I could get reactions out of people, I was like, all right, well, that's fun.
Yeah, watch this. Yeah.
I can do that. That's a motivating factor for me. So, but yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Mouthy.
Yeah. Mouthy.
Just mouthy.
Lots of mouths out there.
Cow. All right, cool. So, yeah, in a little reverse order there. But let me see here. So we have a Bywater Post story from Noah Haley, I think.
Cool.
Yeah. Hey, guys. My name is Noah Haley. I am from Pangburn, Arkansas. I'm not sure what part of Middle Earth that would be considered.
Wonder if he's down by the Ozarks or something.
So yeah, Arkansas. I'd have to look at. Remember that there was that map that was shared. You know, like transposed over top of like the states and everything. So, yeah, I'm pretty far behind on the podcast. I just now finished the Breaking of the Fellowship. I've been trying to decide if I want to write in about my own Tolkien story, and I have been hesitant because I do not consider it to be impressive compared to others. No, and see, I think sometimes people, like it doesn't. I mean, it doesn't have to be earth shattering. It's like, what are you passionate about? I mean, or what are you into? Like, how did you get into Tolkien? You know what I'm saying? Like
my own Tolkien story is pretty normal.
Yeah,
you know, like you get. I mean, it's just it is what it is, and that's the beauty of it is that like it's hard to. I mean, you have some that are similar. But everyone's is different, and then what happens after they discover Tolkien is something else too. So
yeah, it's almost like like there's a follow up to it as well. Like what did you do with
there's a before
that?
And after.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yes. So anyway, my story starts when I was relatively young. The first movie came out when I was 5, but I don't remember if my family and I went to see it in theaters. One memory I do have from being that young is after the movie came out on disc / VHS. I was watching.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, I was watching The Fellowship of the Ring in my parents' room, and when Boromir died, I started crying and could not stop. Mm-hmm. By the way, did you see the artwork on the group the other day?
Oh, it's beautiful. Did Mike Charles post that or somebody? Or he commented on it?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Fast forward a few years after seeing all the movies, I became interested in the book and asked my dad about it. My dad had read The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings trilogy when he was younger and knew all about the story. My dad eventually bought me a copy of The Hobbit that had a bunch of pictures in it. Although I did not read much of it, I mainly just looked at the pictures. Once I was older, I was talking to my grandmother about the movies because I was already in love with the films, and she told me she had a copy of all the books. She let me have the books, and once I started reading them, I was hooked. Yeah. When I was younger, my brother and I had a bunk bed, and I remember staying up late into the night on the top bunk reading. I had created a fortress out of pillows and blankets up there and had the Lord of the Rings and various other illustrated books about the movies / book.
That sounds so nice right now.
Yeah, it does. To be on the top bunk.
They're just pillows and blankets.
You didn't really have it.
Yeah,
didn't you live in you had a you had like your little thing set up underneath. Didn't you have a top bunk or something? Was that you? Or you and Hillary had top bunk beds?
Had. Wait, how did you know that?
No, I was thinking because didn't you you had like a, you know how like you can just have only the top bunk and then you can have like a desk.
Are you
underneath?
thinking about in college?
Maybe I am. I don't know.
But as a kid, I had that too.
Did you really?
How would you have known that?
I wouldn't have known that. I thought you had that when you were in high school. No? No?
College. That was my freshman room.
Futon. I remember you having a futon in your room, like a little thing, and it was.
Yeah, I had a futon. Very different.
Yeah,
very different.
My bad. How did I know that?
Are you that guy that you were talking about earlier?
Maybe.
What was his name? Old Bill or something? Brother Winston?
Yeah, that guy.
Who knew that you slept without your socks on?
Oh,
Brother Wallace. William Wallace.
Oh, you're gonna have to go listen to the podcast for that story.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay.
Bunk beds. Sorry.
Yeah. Here we go. So, yeah, the fortress. Okay. The book my grandmother had given me had maps of Middle Earth in them and the entire appendices in it. I would spend hours up in that bed looking through the maps and the appendices. While my brother and I were growing up, we would play various Lord of the Rings video games, and they are probably fewer Lord of the Rings video games that we haven't played than we have played. One Christmas, my parents bought me the extended edition Lord of the Rings trilogy that had the movies appendices included with it.
Yep.
And to this date, it is one of my favorite gifts that I've ever received.
Yeah.
One summer, we went on vacation to Alabama to the beach with my aunt and uncle. Instead of going down to play on the beach, I stayed upstairs in the condo the entire time watching the extended edition and the appendices.
Wow.
I mean, I could, yeah, that, yeah, sure.
That's awesome.
You got to, man. My fascination with Lord of the Rings kept growing, and when I was in 7th grade, I would sit in study hall and try to draw maps of various locations in Middle-earth.
That's cool.
Now that I am older, I have watched the movies countless times, and I have either read the books or listened to them on Audible numerous times as well. At my university, to graduate, we have to take an English proficiency exam. On the test, one of the essay questions was to write about a book that we feel should be taught to students in colleges. I chose Lord of the Rings as my book and explained how it was a great book and should be taught in colleges and why. I'm getting married in March, and luckily my fiance enjoyed Lord of the Rings when I had her watch it with me. That's the test, right?
Big time.
I mean, that's sort of the,
That's when I really, really knew about Sarah.
Right.
Showed her Return of the King. We're 3 hours in, and I'm thinking like, wow, she's still digging this. She's still glued to the screen.
Right.
And Sam starts talking about strawberries with cream.
Yeah.
And she starts crying.
Oh, wow.
Tears coming down her face. I'm like,
oh, wow.
Yeah, okay. It was a lock before, but
that
got to get a hustle on it now.
Well, here's the thing. I think we might need to make a spreadsheet or some checklist for friends out there who this is, if you are dating someone or you whatever, thinking about this is getting more serious, we will develop some, sheet for
approval
you.
checklist.
Yeah. It's not like it's
gates you got to get through, bro.
Yeah, man. I mean,
hoops you got to jump through. Sorry.
Right. Okay, so that was a good sign when they were dating. All in all, the Lord of the Rings has been important in my life and is one of the many passions that I have. I love how there are subtle nods towards Christianity in the Lord of the Rings, even if they aren't direct. In college, my degree is Christian ministry and history, so I eat up pretty much anything Tolkien related. Hopefully, I was able to explain my Tolkien story without rambling too much.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah, I absolutely love y'all's podcast. And on numerous occasions, I have told my family, friends, and coworkers about y'all. Please don't stop with the long podcast. They help me with my commute to college every week.
There you go.
Wow. Thank y'all for everything y'all do, and I hope to be able to see y'all at LEP3.
Get out of here, man.
Already talking about it.
Didn't even know we were having it.
Here we go. Next year. It's expected, my friend. It's expected.
I know it is.
Yeah.
I know.
It's a thing.
That's good.
I honestly believe, even, not that we like to talk about this because the podcast is going to be going on for 15 years. We don't know if we told you guys that.
Yeah.
But it's a 15-year project.
And then we're done.
And then we might be done. But the
Lost Sock will go on forever.
Right. But the long expected party probably will go on forever as well.
I mean, I'm thinking, okay, so I don't know. You expand it out in your head, and I think it's going to get to the point where we won't be running it anymore.
Oh no! Yeah,
it'll be an organization or something.
It will be. Yeah,
it'll be like the Shirelings of North America, or I don't know.
They'll bring us in to cut a ribbon.
Yeah, and they'll be like, "Get these assholes out of here!
Get these! All right, you guys, you did your thing. Now
their brains are fried, and they make no sense anymore.
Right? Yeah,
they're a liability.
Get your oatmeal. It's over in the corner. Come on.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. No, that's cool though. That's awesome. So Noah, thanks.
No, that's great. Thank you so much. Love your story, man. Love it.
Just kind of finish up with just the entire community y'all have created is filled with some fantastic people, and I would say that you're one of them, my friend.
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
That's awesome.
100%. Yeah, it's beautiful. We were talking about that this evening, just how amazing it is that it's just such a place of positivity and continues to be so, and another thing to be thankful for.
It really is. It really is. And so today we're a little. This has been. Gosh, as we wrap up this book, it's been just kind of want to say with the studio and the holidays and everything that's been going on, we appreciate your guys' patience. And I do actually have some fun little Patreon stuff that I was going to post, but some sensitive stuff though. So
what is it?
Oh, it's just more shenanigans from the brewmaster.
Oh, geez.
Be careful now.
Oh, about
oh lordy. Yeah, we took several breaks. We took several breaks during that podcast. It
took forever to get started too.
Oh my gosh! I think
we took like an hour and a half to get started.
I did 2 appendices beforehand because we started to record and we stopped and we started again. And it was crazy. Mouthy. Yeah.
Talk too much.
I'd say that's Ben.
Hey man, I mean he was encouraging it, wasn't he?
He was. Yes, so yeah, we'll have some of that for you guys as well, and then I think we're gonna have your cousin on soon.
Yeah, next episode, my cousin Luke Smith will be joining us.
Nice.
And I think, I know that I've referenced him before in the past. My cousin, Lord of the Rings is such a big part of our relationship.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and we have so many cool memories of like in the summertime going over to his house, spending a week there. He'd come to my house, spend a week. We're only 4 months off in age.
Oh yeah.
And growing up, we called each other secret brothers because we both had
sisters.
He had his sister's Amy and mine's Hillary, and we always wanted brothers, and we're like, we'll be secret brothers.
Right.
And we were like, at one point we devised this thing where we were certain that we were separated at birth or something, and now it's a joke because I'm crazy like my Uncle Tim. And Luke's very introspective like my dad. And we're like, oh, we were just switched at birth.
So, yeah, right.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
We're not twins. We were switched at birth.
Yeah.
So 4 months apart. Funny. I don't know how that would work. But
yeah, whatever.
Yeah, so anyway, that'll be awesome. And this is actually, I didn't realize that the chapter that he is coming on for, because he said, hey, where are you? And just pick one.
Sure.
And so I said, how about, I said, would you rather do the company, or would you rather do something with Frodo and Sam? He said Frodo and Sam if possible. I said, how about the first chapter, Cirith Ungol? And he was like, that's actually my favorite part of the stories. So he's going to be coming in. I mean, I've been texting him the last couple of days, and he's geeking out. He's geared up. He's going to reread the Cirith Ungol chapter, and then a couple previous, and even a couple after.
Yeah,
it'll be great. He's an amazing dude. So
nice.
Yeah. Yep,
that's good. That's awesome. So we'll get that rolling, and I think we'll be recording that sometime next week, and then look for studio updates. And then honestly, I do want to mention this. So I think throwing this out here. What are you looking at me like I shouldn't?
I'm just doing sign language.
Okay. I'm thinking we might have a little something coming for our patrons here.
At
the end of December, beginning of January.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm working on a design.
Little surprise Aruski coming your way. Yep. So just stay tuned.
So don't tell them what then?
Well, you just check Patreon.
You're all
for
getting
updates.
your own LBPTs.
Right, yeah. We've got them braided for you. They're
braided
pre-braided.
for you. You just attach them.
Right.
It's actually magnetic.
Now, it's mandatory that we all do a photo shoot, and we're all going to do, that's going to be LEP 3. We're going to have the...
Yeah, we're not going to tuck the tails.
We're all going to be out here out back under the banner doing the photo shoot.
Can you imagine?
Could you imagine? Dude, what if somebody shows up next year to
and their cosplay is you?
Oh my god!
With the tail,
dude, they got a flannel shirt on and they got the.
Oh my god! No, or they just come and they are just they're dressed as a tail. Their entire body.
God. They just are the.
Wow,
that's insane.
Wow,
that would be nuts. So, anyways, okay, cool. So, there's that. We've been having some fun with the social media takeover, so we had some posts there, and that's going on through December.
And you now have access, so you can start posting stuff.
Finally.
Changing that password just changed everything.
Hey, by the way, friends on Patreon, keep it secret, keep it safe, all right? So, yeah.
What was that noise?
Was that your foot? That was my socks, bro.
Don't lose it.
That was my socks.
Don't lose that sock.
Yeah, so. All right, so there's that. If you want more content, we got some stuff over there on Patreon. Also, be sure to check out Further Up. We just did an awesome episode.
Yes, we did. Yep. We're back.
But don't let me forget, by the way. I got to get you that.
I know how to get that off.
Good golly. Jeez.
Got to get that off.
Hey, man. We haven't pitched a 10-all episode. You know what I'm saying? I mean.
We have kept it so clean. So people who like episodes more like this,
right?
This has been for you. Yeah.
It's okay. It's been a rough. It's been like a relaxing, like chill day, and then it's just like how is it that we end up at like
I don't know
2:00 in the morning?
We can't shut up. That's what I'm saying. Like we can't stop talking.
It's great, man. All right,
We're
so
ramblers, I guess.
Yes. So check all that out. We get the newsletter with Jen. We get the website with Erica. Social media stuff going on, a bunch of cool stuff. Bunch of our other friends have podcasts that are fun. Check out the group. The Facebook group is growing like crazy. You guys have been great. It's been a wonderful
over 1,000.
Yeah, just really good. Yeah, exactly. We got so many people in there, and I'm telling you, I've said it before. When this TV show hits, and you get people who basically, all of us go through like, okay, I've been reading this or I've been in this fandom for a long time. Let me go check out this and I'll come back to this later. Yeah. There are people who are in that stage right now who are diehards, who literally are just sort of like, okay, I know that's coming. Let me get into some other fandom and then I'm going to come back to this later. Like our group, be ready. I'm so proud of everybody in there and all of our listeners just for being who you are and like being positive, cool, kind people and sharing all of that with each other and stuff. And got a D&D situation going on.
Oh yeah, there's a spin-off podcast.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
The D&D club and make sure that you continue listening into Phil Seidel as he fills us in and the Minas Tirith archives.
Absolutely.
And, it's just
all that goodness.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing. And I think, honestly, as there's still a lot of people who might not be as into Tolkien right now and Middle Earth and stuff, just because of whatever phase of life they're in, that don't even know the show's coming out.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean,
absolutely.
how if we weren't into it, would we know?
Right.
We may have heard an article and be like, oh, okay, cool, well, whatever. Okay. But like, it's not a real thing. It's not real yet. It's not being pushed in commercials, and it will be.
It will be.
I mean, I saw a commercial today for an Amazon film that's going to theaters. I didn't even know they were doing that.
Huh. Wow.
There's an Amazon movie that's going to be in the theaters.
Interesting.
It's like, what the heck? So, I mean, bet your balls that there's going to be LOTR on Prime commercials. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Well, so how about this, too? Another thing, just to kind of encourage everybody, like, we are going to, this TV show, and the reason I think we're hyped about it, and people can say whatever you want to say, but like, it's going to spark a new interest in Tolkien's works in a younger generation and people who have never heard about it. Or I went into my library, I kid you not, and I said, hey, do you guys have The Hobbit, The Lord of the Rings, whatever? They didn't have them. I couldn't believe it.
Like they don't have them in the library.
I wanted to rent them. I wanted to check them out, and they were like, "We used to have them. Like we don't like they didn't have. They had kind of
what?
It's more of a media center now. It's not really a library anymore.
That's a shame, dude.
It's crazy, right?
It's a shame.
So I'm just things like that, and I love the library. She's great. Everything's whatever. But I'm just like, wait, you don't have these books on the shelf?
I bet she's no Mr. Toole.
These are class. No,
Mr. Toole's the man.
That's right. I forgot.
He loved Tolkien. He loved Tolkien. Oh, diehard.
Didn't realize that. Wow. So anyways, I don't know. I'm just excited for the idea.
Is he still there? Is Mr. Toole still there?
He was as of 8 years ago.
8 years ago. Well, that was a while.
Last time I checked in.
I mean, I think I knew he was there like 4 or 5 years ago.
Was he really?
Yeah, because when I did that subbing there, I mean, he was amazing, dude. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, I digress, but good man, Mr. Toole. He deserves to be discussed on
good shout out
podcast for sure. Yeah.
All right. So anyway, so keep it positive. Look for those new friends to come in, new listeners, new people who want to be uppers and stuff, and just encourage them and welcome them into the group and all that good stuff. So we thank you guys. You guys are wonderful, and I think it's time to say farewell, my friend.
Next time we'll be climbing into Cirith Ungol with Luke Andy Smith. It's going to be a wonderful time. Trying to see if Frodo is still alive and what the state of our quest is.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you like our podcast, don't forget to subscribe, like us, write a review, leave a comment, or send us a Shadowfax.
We'll see you in a fortnight. Remember, Frodo lives.